Dylan and Wyatt. Wyatt, you express yourself through music. Dylan through combat. And you both are pretty good friends. How do those two worlds collide? Wyatt, I'll start with you.
Okay. So with like music, I started around so we've been friends since freshman year, and I started doing music like around my senior year. And when I kept like doing it after high school, uh there'd be like times where we had like I had little bar shows or anything like that. Dylan would come and hang out. We have another one of my friends make music, and we all hang out. We used to hang out, make music, just chill, and just sit around while we were in the studio, and just me and Dylan have a couple songs that we have just
Okay.
like I wouldn't we took seriously.
Mhm.
It's always nice to listen back on them because it's fun to make music with people.
I,
Yeah.
I I say the dopest thing is like listening to one of his songs and getting hyped to it, like absolutely insane, or like seeing like a new music video that they got coming out for the first time. You know what I mean? Like, and music, like especially like with MMA, like music is the only thing to get you hyped up, really, or for me
Mm.
at least. You know,
Yeah.
and they have the amount of songs that they do and how good they are is insane, or their concerts or whatever that they've had.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot because it's just really hard to like process when you're making something like
Mhm.
from scratch,
Mm.
and then it's nice to when I can go to him and show him a song and he like shows like enjoyment.
Yeah.
It's really nice, but it's like really like hard to just like it's hard to show from how little it starts from
Mm.
like just your voice because everybody sees a final cut, nobody sees like the beforehand.
Yeah.
He's got to see like the before, the raw, the beginning of how it sounds from creating just a thought to
Mhm.
now a full finished product.
And
Interesting.
it's definitely way different than you think it is. Like the
Hmm.
complexity, like every time I'm like, I'm trying to make a song, and then I come to the process with them, and I'm like, screw this, you know what I mean? Like, and then, but like with MMA, it's the best thing of like I'm seeing what it's like doing what he's doing a little bit, you know what I mean? Like you know, he's gotten 10 times better over these years, you know what I mean? It's like he's been doing it since he was before the womb or whatever, and getting into the gym and MMA, it's like learning something that I can build on my own. It's just like how he did, you know what I mean? Like there's nobody held his hand and making his own thing or anything, you know what I mean? And
Yeah. Yeah.
build on the same aspect of this, you know what I mean? Nobody's gonna hold my hand to get punched or or to train like this.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's interesting. I'm not trying to get too deep too quick into the podcast, but one of the interesting things I was thinking about is like Wyatt, if you make like or you put a lot of work into a song and then you really like it, you think it's gone well, but then you bring it to Dylan and Dylan doesn't think it's is
Hmm.
it's his cup of tea or whatever.
Happens all the time,
Yeah, okay.
all the time.
I was just wondering about that,
Um,
and is that th that must be almost disheartening of
no,
like, no?
no,
Okay.
it's how so every song I make won't be everybody's cup of tea, and I
Sure.
know that. There are songs that I have made he likes, but I don't like.
Interesting.
There's a lot of songs that my friends like, but I hate. I'm like, "I don't like this one. I don't think it's that good." They're like, "I really like that one." There's
Ah,
songs that I really like, but his style of music that he likes, it's just not his thing. He likes uppity, like, music
yeah,
for the most part. I'm sure everybody likes, like, a little slow music, but, like, there's times where I make, like, slower music he might not
yeah,
vibe to as much, but
okay.
me, it might have more of a deeper meaning to it
Mm,
that I relate to, and it might be good for me,
yeah,
but it might not relate to anybody else or him.
interesting.
Like, there might be a song where, like, I'm hyping it, like, it's exciting,
Yeah.
but I think it's kinda like a pointless song. No
Ah,
meaning behind it, just words to say, but he likes the vibe of the beat of it and all that, you know what I mean? Like,
interesting.
or he likes the words, it's just that's the that's the art of it,
Yeah,
like, somebody can draw a picture, and they
yeah,
might not like, "Oh, I don't like that," but somebody else might,
interesting. Yeah,
it's just how the game is, and it don't discourage me at all, but feedback is feedback.
Yeah.
So if he gives me a
Mhm.
feedback, even though he might not like it, I could take something from it.
Yeah,
Maybe
yeah,
it's always
really.
like learning. I like
Mm.
hearing everybody's opinion and forming it together, and then maybe redo it, recreate.
Okay, that's awesome. And I think Dylan, you knowing Rob most of your life, you're not going to be someone that's like, oh yeah, I really like it, and think maybe inside like, no, that was trash.
Yeah, especially like when you know what I mean, like with something like music. I mean, you know, it's I've never really met you know all of our friends that make music, or especially him. You know, what I mean, it's he's not gonna make a song that he's gonna come and show you and not feel something for you. You know what I
That's
mean? So
true.
it's always gonna be like, dang, I gotta feel some type of sympathy. You know what I mean? And in knowing Rob, like this year, I definitely got recognized. Like, hey, you know what I mean? This is, you know what I mean? He's not gonna hold my hand or coddle me or you know not be
Yeah,
honest with anything. You know, and it definitely shows me like to think as a person. You know, when like talking about stuff with music and him, but I mean, it's so crazy because you could not like one song one day and then he'll go and make a song that you like the next. You know
yeah,
what I mean? Like if you're not gonna like it, you're gonna like something that you know what I mean. That's
sure.
how good of his variety and his range and everything is. You know.
Cool.
So,
Okay. So Wyatt, you go by Yvng Spark,
Mhm.
and it's
Mhm.
YVNG, and people can Google that.
Mhm.
I googled it and found some of your music. You've created music videos as well.
Mhm.
So yeah, it's pretty cool. So, what kind of music do you do currently?
Currently, so what type of music I do currently? Here lately, I've been doing a lot more singing.
Okay.
When I first started, it was more like strictly rap, like more of a kind of like a I don't know, kind of like more like harsh,
Ah,
like more like just hard rap.
okay.
I really enjoy the singing, the melody,
Yeah.
and I always have put pain music out. But
Pain.
pain music, yeah,
Oh,
just
okay.
my pain.
Oh
So
yeah,
like
yeah,
I
yeah.
express my pain or what I've been through.
Yeah.
And when did that a lot more, I started to tend to really like it and feel
Mhm.
it more. So here lately, I've been really liking singing and getting better at my range of vocals and singing, seeing what I can do.
Got it.
And it just makes the audio sound better when I sing instead of just like talk sometimes.
Yeah, yeah,
It's more peaceful for me too. Like, and it's like as a male, sometimes I feel like even like I wouldn't say just as a male, but for me as a person. But I know a lot of males struggle to speak out and talk.
yeah.
So for me to release what maybe I don't like to talk about
Mhm.
to like maybe like a one-on-one person, I can talk to a mic in my songs.
Yeah.
And to me, like it just feels nice to release that more. So that's what I've been doing recently. It's more therapeutic to me now.
Interesting. That's cool. I like that. And then Dylan, what kind of training are you doing in the gym?
I've been doing MMA recently. I actually just got in the gym. I'd say realistically, like working out like a year and a half ago, maybe a year ago,
Okay.
and I've been doing MMA probably for about 6 7 months right now.
Okay.
But I absolutely love it. You know what I mean? There's not something that I can do by myself that I have more fun with.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And right back to what he was saying about something that you just said about music, but it
Therapeutic.
yeah
Therapy.
yeah extremely therapeutic because you know what I mean like I'm definitely one of those people that I don't like talking about my feelings. You know what I mean? I'd much rather just you know I'm if you met me like I'm a happy go lucky person 24/7 usually. You know what I mean? Like and when something hits me every time it hits me, you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
I'm definitely not those people one of those people that like to talk about it and it's crazy to say but I become like an angry person, you know what I mean? And um I like let's like 2 years ago, you know what I mean? Like especially like at work, I'd say like I was extremely just always mad 24/7, came into work mad, went home mad, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
Woke up upset, you know what I mean? And getting especially getting into the gym cuz I got into it like especially at a time like where something bad happened for me. So I just would go home just after work and just smoke and listen to music and just sit by myself and just like it got crazy to the point where I do it in the dark, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
Cuz it's like thinking about something else was way better than being in the actual moment, you know? And
Yeah.
when I got into the gym, I started going from like shoot, I'd be there from like 10 p.m. to like 3 a.m. sometimes, you know what I mean? Like
Wow.
it felt like the best thing ever, like, you know what I mean? Especially seeing the results, you know, like seeing that your body can get better. Cause I used to be like so skinny where I was like, I don't like wearing t-shirts or nothing, you know what I mean? Like There's shirts I like, or I gotta wear sweatshirts when it's like 80 degrees outside because I don't want nobody to see my body or nothing, you know?
Mm.
And now it's gotten to the point, you know, where like I like wearing, you know, like a tank top to the gym, you know what I mean? Or I like not wearing like uh, a sweatshirt all the time, you know, and
Yeah.
especially getting into the MMA aspect of it, it's so crazy how much you can relate it to the gym because it's like you're gonna learn new aspects of it every single day. You're gonna watch new stuff every single day. You're gonna like you can never put a pinpoint on learning too much about the gym or about your body
Yeah.
or about MMA, especially, you know, and like just like his music, you know, being able to build up something from your like yourself, you know what I mean? Like I've never like nothing like getting smarter about anything, learning anything, like put you in your place when you're learning MMA. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Or like or learning music, you know what I mean? Because music you're ultimately like how I see it is like music, you're putting it out for you or somebody else to like, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
and in that same aspect that I relate that to MMA is like you're for MMA is like you're gonna only get good by like showing it, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
so the aspect of like getting better every single day and actually seeing something is crazy because
Mm.
there's days that and I like relate to this so much with his music where I'm like I don't think I'm learning nothing. Like I'm not getting better at nothing, you know what I mean? Like especially with Rob, you know what I mean? Like I'm
Yeah.
just now, you know, like when I first not like didn't talk to him for a little bit, you know what I mean? Because situations were happening, so I haven't seen him like since I was like 14 or something, you know? So then saw him again when was 22 now. So
Mm-hmm.
getting to the aspect, you know, him on my ass every time I'm in there, you know what I mean? Like making sure I know what I'm doing wrong, you know, it's like
Yeah.
getting mistake after mistake after mistake, you know what I mean? It's like it's crazy because I'm like trying to please like my coach, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
the same as like if he's with his music, you know, he's trying to please a certain audience or certain people or, you know,
Yeah.
and
W-
it's crazy getting into it and knowing the best part of it.
we're gonna get into a lot of like purpose talk a little bit later, but I think a common theme I see between both of you is um i- is is doing something like I mean just doing like you're working towards music, Wyatt, and Dylan, you're working in the gym, and
Mhm.
and you both are seeing growth in yourselves, and it's an interesting thought. So okay, so how long have you two known each other?
Since freshman year of high school.
Since I was probably 13,
Okay, and that's
10 years ago.
10 years. Okay.
And
Close enough to
it's
10.
crazy, like, you never like, we're exactly opposite people at the time.
Yeah.
Like, you know
Yes.
what I mean? Like, I grew up in the like, this like, I grew up like, the schools I went to, all white schools, you know what I mean? Like, me or maybe, like, 6 other black people, you know what I mean?
Mm,
And he grew up in the exact opposite of that,
Yeah.
like
I was like probably with 6 other well, there's more white kids, but it wasn't too many. It
okay.
wasn't like the majority. It was more like I would say there was a 25 to 75
Yeah.
kind of.
Okay.
mhm,
Interesting. Okay.
mhm.
Yeah. My best friend and I, Matt, he's been on the podcast. He and I are polar opposites as well. Let me ask you, are you who's more introverted and who's more extroverted?
I say I'm more extroverted.
I'm more introverted is like basically where you keep to yourself.
Well, yeah,
I'm
it's I kind of look at it as like a lot of people think it's like, do you like being around people versus by yourself? But I think it's more like where you need to recharge.
Oh,
Like
mm,
one of the reasons why I do the podcast is I'm an extrovert, and so I
mhm,
love being around other people, having those
mhm,
conversations.
mhm.
Like that kind of fuels me. When I'm alone, like my battery starts to drain.
mm,
I feel you on that definitely, and it's shoot, my bad. I don't
no,
wanna
no,
but it's
no,
almost like a fear of being alone sometimes, like, gosh, I hate being in my room at, like,
Yes.
9 p.m. at night and I'm wide awake, you know?
Yeah.
with me, it's like it could be like it's different. It's so sometimes my battery can drain quickly, but I really do love being around people and I love conversating. But sometimes it depends on the crowd too. So
Yeah.
like certain like there could be times where something's too like much, like something's too loud or something, and it could overstim me out.
Yeah.
Or maybe that's what I'm liking right now.
Sure.
But or there's times where like I hate being alone. There's times where I just like I can't stand just being by myself.
Mm-hmm.
But there's sometimes I need it. It's a
Yeah.
great mix and it's confusing though for me. But I would say I'm dead in the middle of an introvert and extrovert.
Okay.
It's
Yeah.
really weird. They change very frequent, and it
Mhm.
really depends on the day.
Yeah, I think the word for that is ambivert. I'm gonna butcher ambivert.
Mm.
That doesn't sound right. It's something ambivert or something like that. Anyway, it's like when you're kind of in the middle
Ambient?
of.
I don't know. I shoot. I'm
Mhm.
not gonna repeat that. I don't know if
I
that was.
I,
Yeah.
I think that's right, but for some reason as it's coming out of my mouth, it's like that doesn't sound right. But anyway,
Yeah, that's
so
it.
okay. Um, so we kind of got into who you all are, but is there anything else that the audience should know about as far as who you are as human beings?
Dude,
Mm,
you want to go first or want me to go
I mean, as a human being, me personally, I don't take I take stuff seriously.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not all jokey all the time, but I tend to live more like free. Like I like to live I don't like to dwell on certain things. I
Okay.
do dwell on past and future,
Yeah.
but I tend not to like I forget about living in the present sometimes.
Yeah.
But I just want to be productive and have fun in my life.
Mm.
I just want to like make it somewhat of an impact, something I can leave behind for like my kids or something.
Yeah.
But I honestly just want the best in life. As
Yeah.
long as I'm having fun, I like to have fun. So I tend not to take life as seriously.
Okay.
I tend to get the best of joy out of it
Yeah.
throughout all the dark of the world has.
Okay.
That's just more me. That's my
Yeah.
thing.
I like it. Real quick, how old are you, Wyatt?
I'm about to be 23 in May.
Okay, and then Dylan.
I'm gonna be 23 in April.
Okay,
Mm.
so 22. You're both 22,
Mhm.
essentially. Yeah. Okay.
Mhm.
All right. Go ahead and who are you?
Dude,
Anything else you
Dylan
want to
Gilbert.
say?
I say I'm, like I don't. It sounds kind of corny, you know what I mean? But I'm that one guy, you know what I mean? That always happy, go giddy, like active, you know what I mean? Always trying to have a good laugh, you know what I mean? But it's like shoot, you know what I mean? Behind closed doors, you know, it's like you know, it's you know what I mean? Like I like I'd say Dylan. I like being somebody that's I like making people happy. You know what I mean? I get my joy out of that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's crazy to say. You know what I mean? The older I get, the more I realize stuff that's going on around my life. You know what I mean? So I say I'm definitely somebody that's always. I'm always constantly worried. You know what I mean? Always wanting to do something. Always wanting to better for myself. You know what I mean? Because it's crazy how many times you get older and you lose stuff. You know what I mean? So I'm always. I say I'm a person. I love to have fun. I love to be I like to try to be the life of the party, but I'm also say like when it comes down to business, I try to be you know on it.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. That's interesting. But we're gonna get into it a little bit later. But how and this is one of the reasons why I asked how old you guys were. But in my 20s, I think I had a completely different mindset than both of you, which is interesting. And again, we'll get into that. Um, can one of you explain how we know how I know you, you guys know me?
Well, when Dylan brought me here, I met you uh doing circuits.
Yeah.
That's how I met you,
Yep.
and that's where it all. And you was just really friendly, and
Mhm.
like I said, you was an extrovert.
Yeah.
Like I'm shy
Yeah.
sometimes.
Yeah.
You was just like right there,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure you did a joke first. Probably,
Yeah.
if I can remember, I think you joked and
Day
made me
one.
laugh.
Probably did a wheelchair joke of some sort, right?
Yeah, and that's how I met. It was really dope just to be able just meet you, and then we just worked out together,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
that was how we met.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Yeah, and we do circuits together. We've never held mitts for
Nah, but
or
remember
sparred or
the
anything
first day
like that.
we went out to eat at that
Oh
one
yeah,
Yeah,
place.
yeah. Hot
Oh
pot.
my, yes, oh my gosh. I still don't know if I like it or not. I
me
still
either.
don't know. I don't know.
I don't know. I've been thinking about that. My girlfriend was talking about she went with somebody. I forgot who, and then me, and I'm like, I don't know if I liked it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
interesting.
I thought it was gonna be seasoned. I thought everything was gonna be seasoned.
Yeah, I mean you can season it yourself.
Yeah.
But and then some of the meat there was like the spicy meat. Anyway, for those that don't know, what is hot pot?
Hot pot
Just
is
briefly.
you go there and they bring you out raw meat, right? And
Yeah.
you have these little stove areas and these little you have also a pot of soup, and you put these meats in the soup and on the stove area, and it boils it and cooks the meat, and I think you get like a certain broth that you can get, or the
Yep.
soup what
Yep.
kind,
Yep. Yep.
and then you got sauces that you can make and all different kind of sauces. But if you got to be prepared for Korean food,
Yeah.
it's Korean food.
Soy sauce heavy, very soy sauce tasting.
Yeah. Yeah.
Quick brine of the meat, and then
If you don't know what certain things are, don't grab them.
Yeah, yeah, right. It's interesting because the first time I went was not with like Rob and crew,
Really?
and I went with friends, and we had no idea what we were doing, and I didn't like it, and then once I went with Rob, and he kind of showed the experience and how all that went, it's like I really like this now. We haven't been in a long
No.
time.
See, when I was a kid, apparently I ate Korean food with Rob all the time, like
Interesting.
every single day, apparently, and I remember it, but like it was good. I don't know. Hot pot, I was not used to it. I don't know if this is like the American like taste buds or whatever, but
Yeah,
fast food.
yeah,
interesting.
fast food.
Yeah. Okay. So, Dylan, I'll start with you first on this question. If we weren't here in studio, where would you be?
I'd be at the gym.
At the gym.
I'd either be at the literally a couple steps away right now at the MMA gym, or at Planet Fitness right now.
Yeah. All right. I like it. Wyatt?
Me, I would either be at home doing like a me time thing, or I could be in the studio,
Yeah.
or I could just be out doing like a hobby.
Okay.
It really my schedule's so mixed up sometimes. It's never like my schedule's not set. It's not organized.
Yeah.
One day I'll be in the studio, next day I'm out shopping, doing something, or next day I might be just playing the game or writing music.
Yeah.
It
I
really
like
depends.
it. That sounds like the schedule of a musician.
Oh my God.
So hey,
Yeah.
Swear.
Yeah. Exactly. Okay. Next is, what do you want your 30-year-old self to thank you for? Wyatt, we'll start with you on this one.
I want my 30-year-old self think just to keep on going for me. I
Okay.
had so many hardships in my like starting at like even as a kid, but at like even at 18, just to keep pushing and just going through life just as happy as
Yeah.
like it's hard to stay happy, but just as like the mindset I have of like just making the best out of everything. I try to stay as positive as possible. And so far it's working. And as a 30, I want to thank myself for that
Yeah.
because that's going to make me more mature and make me just appreciate life. And I feel like I'm going to appreciate life more at 30 than I am now
Yeah.
because I'm going to learn and be more wise. But that's what I'm probably going to thank myself for, just to push through the hard young moments,
Yeah.
just to be where I'm at,
Mm-hmm.
just building character.
I love it.
I
Dylan?
say I probably thank my 30-year-old, or I probably thank myself right now at 33 or 30. Sorry, you know that.
30. Yeah.
Yeah, I
I
probably
got
thank
you.
myself for being so happy all the time. You know what I mean? Because I feel like I feel like I don't like to be, I'm not trying to impose myself anywhere, but I like to say that I'm that one person that can always bring the light anywhere, and it's crazy to say that there's so many times where I'm like, I want to be that person that's always mad. You know what I mean? I want nobody to come up to talk to me like I'm tired of stuff, and it's crazy how much I want to try it, like Wyatt will come up to me or something, like I'll be mad at Wyatt or something, bro, and he'll come up to me and just like make me die, like start crying, and it's like I thank myself, for also like allowing people in my life, to keep me as this type of person and not to switch, and go,
Yeah.
start being friends with somebody else, or start turning into somebody else that I know I'm not, I'm
Yeah.
always stay a happy person.
Yeah. Cool. I like it. Well, everybody, welcome to the Rolling Forward podcast, a podcast of people who keep rolling forward no matter what life throws at them.
Mhm.
Real people, real stories, powered by purpose, resilience, and a drive that never ends. I'm Zach Sikora. Spina bifida didn't stop me. It just gave me a better excuse to sit down while I take over the world. Today's funny t-shirt is it's Wheelchair Mafia, and it's a mafia guy in a wheelchair. Why does the mafia figure in a wheelchair have a cane? I don't know, but it looked cool, so I went with it. So Wheelchair Mafia. Do you know what the Wheelchair Mafia is?
That's,
Mm,
I know
a little
it's
bit.
you
Yeah.
and I'm really bad with names.
Matt.
It's Matt.
Matt's the other dude in the
Yeah.
wheelchair. He hasn't come for a little bit, but yeah, so Rob actually coined that term as Matt and I being the wheelchair mafia, and then like everybody that's working out is referring to them as the wheelchair mafia as well. So that's just, it's funny how we did it. And so I created a few different designs of the wheelchair mafia. So if you want to be a part of the wheelchair mafia, you can get one of these shirts at rollingforward.printful.me. And also, if you like what you heard today, please, it would mean the world to me if you gave me a follow, if you liked what I'm doing, commented with any of the questions that we're asking. If we have a disagreement and you sway one way or another, I definitely want to hear all that as we get into the episode today. And then share this with whoever you think might benefit from this. So, all right, let's keep rolling into today's episode. Okay, so the next section I want to get into is how you know Rob. So we'll start, Wyatt. We'll start with you.
Mhm.
How do you know? Like, how well do you know Rob?
Not well at all.
Yeah,
I could say I know him enough to have a good opinion on him.
yeah,
I met him through Dylan.
yep,
Dylan's talked about him for a couple, like some years. I heard about him on and off. He's always wanted to me to like come with them and all that. I can at least the last couple years. He's talked about him a little bit, and that's just really it.
yeah.
Um, I met him and he was really nice,
Mhm.
really opening and just respectful and it was just good vibes to
Yeah.
be around.
Yeah, yeah,
Pretty
yeah.
much. So other than that, I don't know too much about him.
Yeah. All right. Well, you're in for a treat because Rob is one of the most fascinating human beings I've ever met. So, Dylan, how about you?
Man, I've known Rob since I was probably like 6 years old through like basically family relations. You know what I mean? He's my uncle basically. You know, and shoot, this man like my relate like. This man might as well be like my bigger brother, my dad, my like uncle, everything. Like I can go through times where, like he's came and, grabbed me at the worst point of my life, you know what I mean, just to take me, on a trip. And I could also tell times where I was crying in the car and he threw my ice cream out the window. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Um, it's absolutely crazy knowing somebody like him, you know what I mean? Because as soon as I think it was like maybe like 7 or 8 months ago when we got in contact with him, and first day or like probably like first week here, and I come in one day and it's just me and him, you know what I mean? I immediately sit down and I just started talking about my life, you know what I mean? And like we just started talking about life, because it's crazy being like the one person that like, I got my one person I feel like is my grandma, you know what I mean? My grandma and my mom, and but like, you know what I mean? That's like before that though, the one person that was always there was Rob, you know what I mean? Like if I would have known him my whole life, you know what I mean? I couldn't even explain the amount of stuff I would know now.
Yeah.
Just and crazy, like literally I could say a happily crazy, insane, amazing human being.
Yeah. 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 Absolutely. Um, what did you, and this is maybe why for you an easier question, but what did you think of Rob the first time you met him?
The first thing I thought, he was very like he welcomed me in here, and that's always like respect that for anybody to welcome me. It's not a home, but it's his home. It's like it's his thing that like his area, I guess to say, and just for him welcome me is it just was nice, but he didn't. He like was on me, like you know what I mean. He was like
Yeah.
on me, and like he pushes me.
Mm-hmm.
So like that just shows that he just cares about not only like his profession, but he cares about like building a young generation. And I
Yeah.
could see that and I highly respect that of
Yeah.
what he's doing.
Yeah.
Even though I might not be the most consistent person to come here sometimes. I got like a lot going on, different hobbies,
Mm-hmm.
but I could tell that he cares. I could see with other people that he genuinely cares about giving his knowledge and what he knows and passing it along. And that's to me, that's almost important about anything in life general, is just being able to pass on something to somebody younger.
Yeah.
That's just so meaningful, and I just respect that of what he's doing. And it's like it's somebody I can look at and just be like, that's like something I can learn from. He's somebody that's something that you can learn from, and that's my first impression of him.
Yeah. Okay. Dylan, I'm gonna ask you, what's something he said to you that has like stuck with you?
Shoot, recently, I got an 83-year-old grandma, you know what I mean, and I got a family member that's not always in my life, you know what I mean, that I love very, very much, but it's going through the most stuff, it's not very good right now. You know what I mean? And just talking to him about it, and being real with how everything is, and I'm telling him like, my grandma got surgery coming up, and I'm telling you, it's she got surgery coming up, you know what I mean? I hope everything's gonna go good, and I'm telling you the details, you know what I mean? And he explained to me, you know what I mean, like at the end of the day, stuff's gonna happen, you know what I mean? One day or another, she's gonna pass away, you know what I mean? And
Mm.
stuff's gonna stick with you. But I mean, there's nothing else to do. You know what I mean? You gotta stick it through. I mean, there's no chance in you know what I mean? Just giving up. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? And there's I mean, especially knowing him, knowing what he's went through, you know what I mean? And knowing that like everything I could talk to him about, you know what I mean? It's like there's no type of shock in his face, you know what I mean? There's no type of like judge in his face,
That's
you know?
yeah.
Like and
That's wow. That's an interesting realization. I
yeah,
feel like that too.
absolutely. Even like if I went and I told him like something bad, you know what I mean? He's like, okay, but
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like he's not gonna be. There's like shoot, you know what I mean? It's literally the most it's the one person that you think it feels like he's gone through everything, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
and one person that you feel like you could talk about everything with, you know.
Yeah. You know, it's interesting. I think I've shared this on the podcast, but Rob got me to do this,
Really.
the podcast.
That's really cool.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and like we were talking about it, and like I don't know, all it took was like him showing me this room, and I didn't even know this room existed until like I was training for a year, and I'm like, wait,
Yeah.
this room exists. So,
Yeah, and
um,
my fault. I didn't want to
no, go ahead.
but one thing also is, I was talking about, my grandma and be like, whenever she passes, I'm gonna go through the worst time of my life. I don't know how I'm gonna be, I don't want to be out here, what I mean, like hurting anybody or nothing. He was like, fight. Why
Yeah,
not fight? I mean, you know what I mean? That's exactly what I'm training for, right now. It's the perfect thing I got going right now, you know what I mean? And just like somebody simply just be able to let you know something quick as hell like that to take everything away for a second,
yeah,
Like,
yeah, yeah. That's so cool. Has he ever, and either one of you can answer this, has he ever called you out in a way that you didn't like but needed?
yeah, I'd say definitely. I mean, there was a solid like month where I was coming every day I was coming in here with him, man. And I'll be, bro, I'll go to work and I tell Wyatt, like, my uncle's pissing, or my uncle's making me mad, like mad is like crazy. Like, there was points where I was like he just try like we're just training, you know what I mean? And he'll tell me something simple, but it's not like he's like, hey, you're not moving, you're being stupid right now, you know what I
Yeah,
mean? And I'm like, bro, like I haven't even seen you. I've just got back in touch with you recently, you know what I mean? I'm like, I'm 22 now. The last time I saw you was like 14.
yeah.
You know what I mean? But it's like, I'm a big person on self-reflection, you know what I mean? So like getting checked like that was, it felt good that it's not like you know what I mean? Like he's not gonna be holding my hand the whole time, but he's not gonna let me die. You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
not just die of, you know.
Yeah, you know what's funny is like I'll be training and I'll be like someone will be holding mitts for me or something like that. I'll be punching, and then Rob just walks over and he doesn't say anything, and I'll just look over at him and be like, I know, Rob, I've got to have this form instead of this form.
Mm. Or
And
or if he makes you an example, that's when you're like,
oh
oh,
yeah,
okay.
yeah, yeah. Anyway, why do you have anything to add? I know you don't know him very well,
No,
but
with things like that, I had a high school wrestling coach that was really hard to get approval or like you could do anything right.
yeah,
So like I'm kind of used to that. So it was like, and plus like I feel like in a combat sport or anything like that, it's very common to see like a lot of point outs what you're doing wrong
yeah,
because like it's just you get better that way. So
yeah.
not necessarily because I haven't trained that much, but I'm sure if I like was like training hard as I can and I can't get it right, and
Mhm.
then something said like that, it's definitely frustrating.
Yeah.
Because I think it's more you're frustrated yourself.
Mhm.
But me personally, not like nothing that I have yet.
Yeah. Okay. What's one trait Rob has that you're trying to adopt? I'm gonna start with you, Dylan, if that's all
Mm.
right. Just one. Doesn't have to be the top or just
The fact that or the probably being able to just let go and let it be.
Ah,
You know what I mean? Because the amount of stuff that that I know that he's been through. You know what I mean? And the fact that he's here and he's able to build a community with so many more people. You know what I mean? Because usually somebody has something happen to him. You're supposed to isolate. You know what I
yeah.
mean? But the fact that he can constantly keep going and you know what I mean, just let stuff roll off his shoulder. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? We won't even know that he's going through something. You
Yeah,
know?
yeah,
For me, I would say his leadership.
yeah,
He is like multiple people look up to him,
yeah,
and he's teaching. He's just like I said. He's passing down stuff he knows, and he's like helping the younger generation.
yeah.
That right there is just like I hope one day I can do that in some type of way, in something, whether if I coach wrestling one day or maybe one of my kids or nephews or anybody in music, maybe one day I can help
Mm,
like bring joy into something for them. I
yeah,
like that. Like that's just something I wish I could do when I get older.
yeah, same. You know, the thing that try to do in my own life is, and Rob does this so well, is anybody that is around him just instantly feels comfortable.
Mhm.
Mhm.
And I think that's so interesting because it's like what is it that Rob does? And you kind of alluded to it a little bit, Dylan, when
Mhm.
you're like, yeah, you tell him something, he's not like, what?
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, okay, that
Mhm.
happened. Let's talk about it. And so like he just doesn't react, if you will. So it's just kind of
And exactly that's a great trait that I should have said too. Non-reactive. You know what I mean? Like shoot, like it's gotta be a different level of peace to be able to achieve, you know?
yeah. It's like stoicism in a way.
Mhm.
Yeah. So what is so I guess anything else about Rob that you guys wanna add before we move on?
Shoot, can I say a story?
Yeah, of course,
Okay, and
please.
I don't want y'all to think that he's a terrible person. You know what I mean? Before this story, it's a funny story, you know? So, I've known Rob probably before 8, definitely before 8, because I mean, he used to pick me up from kindergarten, you know? So I used to be a bad kid in kindergarten. It wasn't my fault. I swear the school was terrible, you know what I mean? But he used to come and pick me up. I was right behind his house every day. You know what I mean? They'd always have a story to tell him, like, he's not doing this, blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? And Rob's like, he's nice to people like, okay, 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 well, I'll talk to him. You know what I mean? As soon as we get to that house, bro, he makes me go outside in the backyard. I don't know what pound kettlebells these were, but they were heavy as hell or heavy. And I'm having to hold them in both hands and go down and back and forth this long, long backyard. I'm telling you, if for hours, like I don't know how long. I'm a kid, but
Yeah.
I'm telling you, it feels for hours. I'm there crying, screaming, crying, and like me and Rob are not related, but he's like my dad. You know what I mean? So he's like, "What you crying for?" Like, oh my gosh, like you know what I mean? Like there's like that. That's why I respect him so much. You know what I mean? Like he's not gonna like. As a kid, I've been able to have the perspective of him, like you know what I mean, as a dad figure, gonna put me in my place, but also as an adult, you know what I mean. There's certain stuff I'm able to talk to him about, and you know what I mean. He's not like if you don't really know him or nothing, he's not gonna like, you know what I mean, like judge you or nothing, you know what I mean? But if you know him and you want a perspective or reflection, you know what I mean, he's gonna let you know the real. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? So
Mhm. Cool. Anything else or all right.
Mm. I don't have much.
Okay,
Yeah.
no, you're good. All right, so let's go with the theme question. What keeps you rolling forward?
mm,
Whoever wants to start.
Oh, it's really difficult. That's a difficult question. What keeps me going? I feel like sometimes the possibility of what I can achieve in the future can keep me going. Um, I don't know my limitations. I don't know. I'm curious to know what I will achieve in the future
Yeah,
and things that I want to achieve in the future. Like, I think everybody wants to be remembered in some way.
yeah, legacy.
Yeah, a legacy. I just hope I put enough impact on certain people to where, like, it just I can change somebody, because there's people in my life has changed me, or even if they've been in my one time I met them, they could have impacted my life and changed me. I just hope I do that for somebody one day.
Mhm.
I'm that type of person. It's things keep. I've been through so much and I overcome so much. Just knowing that just sometimes just makes me really just keep going, just because I know I can achieve anything almost.
Mhm.
And it's really up to me what I can achieve. And that's what keeps me going.
Yeah.
There's battles where it slows me down, but like I know like I can achieve more than what I let myself achieve. And that's what pushes me and keeps me going, because there's more than life than what I've been shown. And
Mm.
there's more than life what other people's been shown. And
Mm-hmm.
that's really what keeps me going, is just living life.
I
Just
like it.
try to be as much as I can.
Yeah. Dylan?
I say what keeps me going forward is the people around me, definitely. You know what I mean? Shout out to Rob, you know, my grandma, you know. But you know, I've already talked about Rob a lot. You know, my grandma's the number one person in my world. But you know, my friends like Wyatt, you know, my friends know who they are, you know, the ones I see every day, you know, the ones I'm talking to, you know, and even if like, you know, I hit you up a little bit, you know what I mean? Or like all our friends at work, you know what I mean? Because I can't tell you how many times it's like, you know, I'm going through something, but I want to be happy, you know what I mean? But there will be times where I have to pull somebody, you know, to the side and be like, hey, like I gotta talk about this, you know what I mean? Or like, you know, there's literally been times where, you know, I have friends like Wyatt, you know what I mean? Because Wyatt was in this perspective, and our one of our friends Riley, you know what I mean? I was going through something, I had to move out of somewhere, and they came within, you know, like literally within 30 minutes of me talking to them, you know what I mean? And
Mm.
you know, I was going through it, you know what I mean? There's nothing like knowing that there's people there to push, like you know, there must be a reason to keep going, you know, if these people are caring about me, you know what I mean? And you know, it's absolutely insane how they don't get tired, you know what I mean, of knowing about my problems. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like, cause I'm one of those people, I don't like to talk about my stuff. You know what I mean? But like, there's nothing like being able to have people around me, you know, to keep me being this big go lucky guy. You know what I mean? Cause I keep that as a big part of my personality, is being happy all the time. You know what I mean? And just like, you know what I mean? If I wasn't happy all the time, you know what I mean? I don't know what I'd be, you know? And if I
Mm.
didn't have my friends, you know, to keep me in check, to be able to talk to them about absolutely anything, you know what I mean? I wouldn't be anything, you know?
Mhm.
Nothing without them.
I have a question. I think you and I are similar in the happiness front, but some days when I'm just not feeling it,
Mm-hmm.
one of the things that I do is I will still act happy go lucky.
Mm-hmm.
And so like kind of the thought process is I think we've all been around someone that's just incredibly toxic, that just like lowers the mood in the room, if you will, you know?
Yeah.
And it's like one of those things where like I never want to be that person, even if I have the flu, like feeling like a, you know, with a temperature or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Like I want to get on, like let's say I'm working at that time, I want to get on a work call and be like, yeah, what's up guys, how's it going? And deep down I feel awful. So
Yeah.
like do you do that, or is it
Yeah.
pretty much a consistent happiness?
I don't know, cause I say I'm a consistent happiness, you know what I mean? But there's definitely times where I try to play it off, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Cause I feel like there's like, I don't know, like me personally, you know what I mean? I feel like this for every single person, you know what I mean? I feel like if I don't act a certain way, there's a silhouette that's missing. I feel like that for everything, you know what I mean? Like if Wyatt's not at work, like, you know what I mean? I'm definitely feeling, you know, a weird way, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
so I say definitely it. And like actually these past couple of days have been like, it's been so much stuff to where I can't even act happy all the time. You know
Mm.
what I mean? And
Mhm.
it, it's it's crazy getting that feeling, you know, being somebody that's always trying to be, you know what I mean? And it's not even a point of like giving a front or something,
Yeah.
but it's like my personality is being happy, acting something else already makes me feel weird, you know?
Ah, interesting.
There was a time where I was doing that every day. Just
Yeah.
I wasn't happy.
Oh,
I was going through so much, but there's people around me that if I'm not being happy, I'm being selfish. You know, I
yeah.
got little nephews going
Yeah.
through the same stuff I'm going through.
Mm.
If I'm being negative, what's that going to make them?
Yeah.
So I got to fake it. But
Mhm.
eventually, you're around people that brighten you up, and
So
you're
true.
brightening yourself up because you're acting. But
Mhm.
eventually, your acting turns true,
Yeah.
and
Mhm.
eventually, your mood gets better.
Yeah.
And then eventually, you get in this mindset of, man, things are hard, but it's better when you're try to be positive.
Mm-hmm.
It's impossible to be always positive. Everybody gets negative.
Yeah.
Everybody gets upset. Everybody gets angry. But it does make that little bit of difference. You just acting it
Mm-hmm.
can change into you're not just acting it no more. That's you.
Yeah.
So that's probably how it went for me.
I love it. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, it's almost like the fake it till you make it motto or whatever, right? So when you are in a funk, what's the mindset or maybe action that helps get you out of that?
I have so don't it's so weird. It just really depends. So like if I'm upset about like let's say because like my parents they passed. So if
Mhm.
I'm upset about my parents, there's really nothing I can do about it. So what I try to do is I think of good memories, try
Mm.
to make that situation better.
Mm.
Or like honestly, like it sucks to say, but like with if they didn't pass, I wouldn't be where I am with music.
Oh.
I wouldn't have songs that I have.
Oh.
I wouldn't have the mindset I have. I wouldn't have matured like I have.
Right.
So sometimes me thinking that like it does help making the better.
Yeah.
Sometimes I feel like at my age I'm not doing enough, or
Right.
sometimes I'm not where I want to be at. That's harder to like get over that because it's all me. That's my
Mhm.
fault why I'm not where I want to be at.
Yeah.
So that one's a little more difficult.
Mhm.
So that things that you can control that you're just not happy with,
Mhm.
like that is hard to like get out of that funk
Mhm.
than just like, passings or like things like that.
Yeah.
So that's something I'm learning as a 23-year-old now or 22-year-old, 23-year-old is how to get that feeling of like you're not doing enough or like you're constant way of yourself, trying to like turn that into positivity and
Yeah.
doing it,
Yeah.
just doing more than.
Mhm.
So that's a little difficult
Yeah.
sometimes, like trying to figure that, turn it from that funk to get out of it.
May I ask how long ago did your parents pass?
I was 18 going into 19, so about it's so hard to get. It goes by so fast. So about 4 around there. I was
Okay.
18, so 23, 5 years, 4 years. This went by so fast.
Yeah.
My mom passed, my dad passed, and my grandpa passed all in the same year,
Whoa.
right out of high school.
Whoa.
Yeah, so it was a whole big just lump sum of trying to grieve.
Yeah.
But and then it took years to get over. It really like not even get over, just to actually learn how to keep going with it
Yeah.
and fake until you making it.
Right.
And that showed me a lot. And then now it's just now I feel like I need to do better. I need to do more. And
Mhm.
that is what I'm learning now, how to get out that funk and how to like change that mindset right now.
Yeah. So Allison, who was on my podcast, talked about a divorce, and she said there were days where she was ugly crying, and the thought that got her out of it was, "This is only a moment."
Yes.
And I'm just curious what your thoughts were there.
So it's only the moment. So I bet like a divorce can tie into this,
Yeah.
but it is only a moment when you're
Mhm.
feeling like that because there will be times where like you don't forget. It's
Yeah.
always weighing on you,
Mhm.
especially with a loss, like a parent loss. Everybody will go through it, so everybody will feel this. It's like a cloud that follows you, but sometimes that cloud is a inch behind,
Right.
and the rain just ain't hit you yet.
Right.
So when you do get upset, you do got to realize I'm upset in this moment, and it's okay to be upset.
That's
Because
gotta.
what I went through is what anybody, like whatever you went through is okay and it's healthy.
Yeah.
Go through it. What comes after rain? Sunshine.
Yeah.
And then that right there is a good moment. And that's when that bad moment fades away. And you just got to realize it's yin and yang, it's full circle. Everything will come full circle. Good, bad, middle.
Yeah.
Always going to circle. You just got to realize, get through your moment, and a better moment will come. And that bad moment will come, but that good moment will come again.
Yeah.
That's how I kind of think of like that. It is the moment. Sometimes you got to think it's just the moment.
Wow. I don't know if any of that's a song lyric already, but like,
You gonna have to see it for somebody to see it.
yeah, some of that was like, whoa, that's very poetic, and like, I don't know, the way
I've
you
been hearing
said
them
it was
talk
like,
this whole time. Like, oh my gosh, like
It's just like when you said that, I did feel that. Like I do,
yeah,
because I thought about that before.
yeah,
And I really do, I really understand other people when they feel that.
yeah,
And hopefully hopefully that can just teach somebody that somebody's watching. Maybe they go through something like that,
Yeah.
divorce, loss,
Yeah.
breakup, even.
Yeah.
Hopefully they realize like it's okay to be in that moment,
Yeah.
and then afterwards it'll be okay.
And like you having nieces, nephews,
Yes.
she had kids, right? So like how could she show up for her kids still while going through that, you know?
Bro,
And
it's hard. It's hard to put on a front,
yeah.
but sometimes you got to be unselfish
Yeah.
and think about more than just like you sometimes, and be like, if I can show these kids that you can move on and be better, maybe their life would be better.
Yeah.
If you dwell, they're going to dwell. Those kids, your niece, nephew kids, they watch you more than you know.
They do.
They copy everything you do. They want to be like you, especially my nephew, my older nephew. He wants to do everything I do. He listens to my music. Everything I do, he probably wants to do.
Yeah.
And some people forget that sometimes. So whatever you do is a big action on what they're going to do and how they grow up.
Yeah.
So my actions are going to really choose how my nephew grows up.
Yeah.
So if I show that you can positively push through anything, and show them that it's okay to have those moments, but once you push through that stuff, you're going to realize you can push through anything.
Yeah.
And maybe one day they just break through more than you did.
Mhm.
And that's what I hope, at least.
Yeah. Um that kind of reminds me, just kind of drawing a parallel to, I think, people your age and maybe even younger, is we live in a world, and I'm gonna butcher this quote. It's something like, hard times bring strong people, soft times bring soft people, or something like that.
I mean, even if it's not the right saying, it's pretty square on. I mean, yeah.
Yeah. It,
Uh,
and so my question is, do you think this generation of people are, let's say, soft?
Nah, nowhere near
No.
nah.
Don't.
Nah, I think it's absolutely insane that people that what millennials and older than that, saying people right now are soft. You know what I mean? Because like you think of the earth, you know what I mean? But it's like you know what I mean? There's so much more stuff that comes as it gets older. I mean, we got you know like 5G network 30 years ago. You know what I mean? Y'all wasn't doing nothing with Wi-Fi. You know what I mean? Like I'm sorry. You know what I mean? So like let's say like going to this perspective. As a kid getting bullied back in the day, no cell phones or nothing. You're getting bullied from school all the way to home.
That's so true.
Nowadays, you can get in hold with somebody's cell phone and bully them all the way until they go to sleep, and
mhm.
they you can literally get to a point like let's say like boom, you get everybody to call this person's cell phone and then constantly call this person's cell phone, send them so much stuff, and they got even scams that can like you know what I mean like nobody back in the day was bullied from home. I do
Yeah.
not care. Like you was not bullied from the cell phone, from a text message.
Mhm.
It's nothing like being bullied at your safe place. You know what I mean? Like
Interesting. So
that's one perspective.
so I do think, and I think data potentially shows this, is like we have there's like depression rates are going
Mhm.
up and stuff like that, and some might argue that they were underdiagnosed back in the day, and we've gotten
Mhm.
better or whatever. But like I think a lot more people are becoming directionless, is my perception,
Mhm.
and lacking of purpose.
Mhm.
Would you agree with that
Yes.
statement?
Yes. You got to back then, from what you could pick to do from now is totally different.
Mm-hmm.
So many more opportunities now. Now that is great. But on the other hand, I'm gonna say this from my personal experience. I don't know what I want to do with my life beyond music. I don't think music is my main career.
Mm-hmm.
It's a hobby that I hope that goes further, but
Mm-hmm.
it's more of a for myself therapy. Like,
Yeah.
but what do I want to do? As in, because everybody needs something to do in their life. Somebody like a job. Everybody wants to be paid good. Everybody wants to live comfortably. There's so many things out there. Sometimes it's so stressful to just level in on one, because you got to pick one thing for the rest of your life that you got to do
Mhm.
to your old. Some people don't get to retire. We got somebody at work that's 77, I think.
This man was in the Vietnam War.
Yes.
No.
And he still has to come to work every day just to
Wow.
provide.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
And he retired from his job that he picked, but you know, like you got to work, like a lot of people got to work to that age. So you got to pick one thing that you're going to do for most of your life.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that is one of the hardest, stressful, mentally breaking decisions.
And
Yeah.
it's sorry to interrupt you, but it's really hard to pick something, you know what I mean, when we're flooded with like, not trying to blame social media or nothing, but I mean, you got so many different perspectives of people having so much money, doing this, doing this, doing this, doing this. You know what I mean? To the point where if you do an average thing or feel like you're average, you just lose the point of life a little bit. You know what I mean? Like, you're always shown so much greatness, but not able to get to it because of, you know what I mean? I'm not gonna say like anybody can get anywhere, but it's like you're looking at the average human being nowadays, they ain't got nothing. You know what I mean? Like the average person, you know what I mean? That you like, if you go and meet somebody, like, hey, I didn't really nowadays didn't grow up with the best perspective, you know what I mean, on life in general. And then now you start flashing them with the best stuff ever.
Mm-hmm.
But now that like, and especially like nowadays, they say you can get anywhere, anything easy. No, it's not. I mean, like, how many like I literally got scammed from a job like 2 years ago thinking I was gonna start making extra money.
Mm.
Man, they got me. It was like think of the Wolf of Wall Street, but terrible. Like
Mm.
terrible, you know what I mean? So like imagine thinking that you're able to go into this new process, you know what I mean? Like have all these different things, especially in high school. Like nowadays, like you really don't learn nothing in high school that you're gonna take outside of high school. Like social studies. What am I gonna use social studies for? I
Half
mean,
of
like
it's a lie anyway.
yeah,
Yeah.
like, you know, apparently back in the day they had wood shop and cooking class. I can't even cook nothing but taco salad, bro. Nothing. Like,
That's interesting you say that because like you know in the day of social media, I think well there's a couple thought processes I have. Is one, the old adage of comparison is the thief of joy, right? So it's like you are comparing yourself to all these like really successful people and all that, and then the flip side of that's kind of fascinating is are you all familiar with Alex Hormozy?
mm,
No.
Not.
What about Jordan Peterson?
he sounds familiar.
I do not.
Okay, it's okay. So one of the things that Alex Hormozy says is in order to be successful, everybody goes through a lonely chapter,
Mm-hmm.
and the concept of the lonely chapter is as you kind of like start doing stuff like you know I planned I planned these podcasts. I've built the studio. A lot of it was on my own. Rob actually helped install the table and other things as well. But you know, a lot of that stuff is on my own. And like so, you know, on a Friday night when, you know, my friends are going out, I'm in the studio doing video edits or something like that. And so it's like one of those things where like what you see on the internet is only the end result or a faked end result, right?
Exactly.
And it doesn't show all that grind, that work, that loneliness, if you will, of going through and putting in the work and not going out with your friends and choosing to pursue what is meaningful, right? So anyway,
I,
any thoughts on that?
I definitely feel that with the gym, you know what I mean? Because, you know what I mean? Like, with what I was going through at the time, you know what I mean? It wasn't the worst thing, you know what I mean? But it was definitely at a point in my life where I was like, okay, now I have nothing, you know what I mean? And Wyatt and my friends can only do so much, you know what I mean? Like, I can only be around them so much. So, like, the points where I would go in the gym and I'd wait until nighttime so that nobody be there, you know, and I'd be there with just my music and literally me and maybe 3 other people in this huge gym, you know, and just constantly putting in the work and then watching all these videos of these buff men telling you, like, you'll hopefully get to that point, you know what I mean? And then like the first ever time that I went and Wyatt was like, well, your arms are getting a little bit bigger. You know what I mean? Like that gave me like the most hope I've ever had. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
and it's so crazy. Like, you know what I mean? Especially like what, like his music and stuff, you know what I mean? Like the amount of work that you got to put in, even if it's like on a, you know what I mean? Cause there's time that he comes to me and he's like, you know, like he'll show me a song and I'll be like, I like it. But he's like, nah, it's not ready yet. You know what I mean? That's how I'd be feeling the same way about the gym, you know?
Yeah, it's not ready yet. That's interesting. You know, the other thought behind it's not ready yet is will it ever be ready?
Mm.
No.
Yeah, and I think it's life is about like hitting that next milestone, right? And then it's like okay, what's the next the next milestone and keep going. So
Exactly. And it's kind of scary a little bit too, you know what I mean? Cause I like, you know, like if me at 22, you know, I mean, my main goal would be to be able to get a job that's gonna be able to get me for, the rest of my life, but then there's gonna be points of like, oh geez, you're gonna lose everything at some point possibly, you know what I mean? Like people lose their houses in fires every day. Like I couldn't imagine having everything, then losing it. But I mean that's exactly what, life is constantly. If you do the same thing every day, you're not gonna enjoy, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Every
Interesting.
oh sorry.
Go ahead.
Every time I lost everything, I gained something better.
Yeah.
And that's the beauty of losing everything and gaining something better.
Yeah.
And back what you were saying with like our generation versus like an older generation saying we're soft or whatever, just because they went through different problems than we did doesn't mean it's less or more. You know, our reflections of like what goes on is our like it is us that we like it is reflecting off of what we do, but it also reflects off what they did in their past. But the generation and the world changes so fast and so much. Like kids that are younger than us, like 12-year-old, 10-year-old, they're going to go through different problems and what we went through, and
Yeah.
we're going to look at them like that ain't nothing compared to like what we went through. But at the same time, it might feel more for them than what we are.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Interesting.
all about perspective and that.
So just talking with you, we've gotten deeper in this podcast in the however long we've been going. We've gotten pretty deep, and you guys are among my youngest guests.
Shoot, it goes deeper. Like trust me,
It can. Yeah,
trust me, it goes deeper. Pause.
Yeah. So I guess my next question. So I mentioned Alex Hormozy and Jordan Peterson. Chris Williamson is up there if you know who that is. But um, these are people that I found probably sometime in my 30s that I started listening to, and as soon as I started like adopting their philosophies about how to like just improve your life, let's say, like my life skyrocketed. Like I showed my mom my calendar and how packed it is, and she's like, "Who are you?" Like in my 20s, that wasn't me. So I'm curious, where does your inspiration come from? Where does your like the lessons that we're talking about today? Where does that stem from?
I I probably say definitely from the people around me. You know what I mean? Because it's already hard enough. You know what I mean? Like I don't know if it's like something like kids nowadays or like maybe like that's different from like the older generation, but we really don't like talking about stuff. Like if you get to the
Mm-mm.
gist of it, you know what I mean? Like kids nowadays, like it's crazy. Like you can have an average bad day, you know what I mean? But it's low key gonna be way worse, you know what I mean, than older generations, And sorry, my bad. Can you tell me the topic real quick?
Well, I was just wondering, like, where does the inspiration
Oh
come
yeah,
from? Is it a person? Where was it?
yeah.
Podcasts? Where is it?
It definitely comes from
Talking to each other? I don't know.
yeah. Honestly, I mean, just being able to get self reflection from everybody. You know what I mean? Being able to learn something from every single person that you come on or come
Mhm.
up to. Because a big thing that I like to do is I like to ask questions. Like I ask people questions all the time, even if they're crazy. You know what I mean? And getting the different perspectives of people, you know what I mean? It's not feeling like you're only in your head listening and trying to figure something out all the time. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And just like even if I go to Wyatt, you know what I mean? Because there's trust me, there's times where Wyatt will tell me something and I'm like, feel the exact opposite. You know what I mean? But knowing like that there's somebody out there that, you know what I mean, thinks a whole nother way than you, it makes you think, you know what I mean, like it gives you a way more broad perspective of being able to go out and do stuff. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
My inspiration, obviously, there's people that inspire me and like maybe make me want to strive harder. But my inspiration for me, where it comes from, is I've been the way I grew up. My parents did the best they could, I guess. I mean, that's what I would always like to say. But we weren't ever in the best situations. There's times where I had no food, no nothing. Like that stuff. That inspires me that I never want to go back to that.
Yeah.
Never want to live like that again. I
Mm.
was a kid, didn't have a choice to live like that. I was dirty, without water. There was so many different aspects of life that I seen. I seen homeless people. I've been in the food kitchens eating with them because we didn't have food, so I had to eat with homeless people.
Mm.
There's times where I was in line helping, feeding the homeless people. I got to see the side of life that not everybody gets to see. And that made me just when I was younger, I was miserable as a kid and couldn't change it.
Mhm.
That made so when I got lucky and got to move in with my grandma because of the situations we had, I was able to take that and inspire me to be something that I never want to do that again. I
Yeah.
never want to be through that again. And there's people throughout that time, they're my brother, sister, family members, just random people that guided me along that way to inspire me to be more than what I was shown. There's more outside of the city lines where I grew up at. And it just makes me want to make my kids, like anybody that I like around, I don't want to ever see that.
Mm.
I don't ever want to be back in that position.
Yeah.
And if I ever did, I can get out of it.
Mm.
But that what inspires me is from my past, what I lived through, to be better and not go through that ever again. And that really does push me hard because it's like I know what it's like to be low and it's not a fun place. So it
Yeah.
inspires me to be greater and just try to just be the best I can be because at the end of the day, it is my choice how far I go, where I'm at. At the time, it wasn't. It was my parents' choice. What they did reflected on me. Now it's my job as an adult and as an adult that has people looking up to him to just just get out and do as best I can.
Yeah.
And that inspires me to never go back to the way I was living as a kid.
Mm.
Just that some of the best motivation I've ever had.
Yeah.
It's just not to go back to where I was.
Yeah.
My bad. I just want to add one more to that. To that
Please.
inspiration. I'm not giving enough credit to my grandma. You know, the stuff that my grandma and I'm like a spitting image of my grandma. Like not image, but how we act. You know what I mean? My
Mm.
grandma was literally, you know what I mean, every time anybody comes in, like, hi, like, you know, always just so uppy and giddy and always happy, you know what I mean, no matter what she goes through, you know, and that's one thing that I always try to take from her a little bit, you know what I mean? And like there'll be, you know, like one example is, you know, my grandma, her husband died in 2020, but then she what do you call it? She was still like I had, you know, due to my family situation, I was going through such terrible, like some terrible shit, you know, and even though my grandma's husband was dying in front of her due to cancer, you know what I mean, she was still able to take care of me, you know what I mean? So that always pushed me, and that's why I'm always trying to keep stuff in and always try to be that happy person, you know what I mean? Because
Mm.
I can't tell you how many times I called my grandma and been like, you know, I'm going through the worst stuff ever, and like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not gonna get into it, but then, you know, and I'd always have her phone like on, you know, like quick dial because I would always run to her, you know, and she'd always tell me like just 6 more months or like honestly like that I can just think 6 more months now because she used to count down the years until I could, you know, get out the house, you know, and she just counted down and would push me and she'd get me out as much as she could. And, you know what I mean? That's the one person that I would, you know what I mean? Like the biggest inspiration in my world, you know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
absolutely insane.
You know, me and Dylan have something very similar with that. I live with my grandma as well.
Mm.
When I was 13, I moved in with my grandma. That's how I went to the same school as him, and that's how we met. My grandma also had to take care of her husband going through cancer,
Mm.
and she took care of me since I was 13. She's raised 3 generations: my parents, me, and my sister kids.
Wow.
So she's raised 3 generations. That it grandmas for a lot of people are inspirations,
Mhm.
and I wouldn't be where I'm at without my grandma.
Shout
Mm.
out grandmas
Yes.
everywhere.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that alone, just I bet a lot of people can relate to that because
Yeah.
grandmas in general just bring joy and just
And just being able to hold,
feeling.
like they always hold the whole family on their back almost
Mhm.
every time.
Mm.
They do. They really do. And that's just something I'm forever going to think about.
Yeah.
You know, that would never leave me of that because honestly, without my grandma, I could be in the place where I was years ago.
Yeah.
I don't know. And that was like a figure I could have looked at and just like learned from because she had it together,
Yeah.
you know. Only
Mhm.
person in my life that was stable and had it together, you know.
Yeah.
So that is also like something that me and him can really relate to.
Mm.
We live with our grandma, both our grandmas
Mhm.
getting older, you know, it's just
Taking care of
Mhm.
both, like, and it's crazy, like we're both, you know what I mean, like the last person that we both got,
mhm,
basically it feels like it's our grandma, you know
yeah.
what I mean? Like, and like we're dang near taking care of our grandmas, you know what I mean? And it, I don't know, that's why, you know, like that's why it's my dog, you know what I mean? Like he like going into like the self reflection thing. You know, what I mean, it's crazy to say it, but there's nobody that can really get self reflection from and stuff is than from Wyatt. You know, what I mean, and the big thing has been going through. You know, that I've been thinking about is loss. You know what I mean, and you know, what I mean, there's I look up to Wyatt. You know what I mean, because Wyatt's gone through the most crazy stuff. You know what I mean, and it's crazy being the same age as somebody, but coming up with stuff later, but being able to go back to somebody that's the same age as you, and you know, want to know stuff about it or figure it
Mhm.
out. So shout out to Wyatt too, Wyatt and grandmas.
Sometimes it's hard to even like give people advice with stuff like that.
Yeah.
Cause like I can kid you not, when I lost like a lot of people when I was 18, it's been like 5 years. Hard to say that it's been 5 years. It's hard to guide people through that because you're still fighting through it, even at 5 years.
Oh yeah.
So people say you do heal in time. It does get better in time, but you never forget in time. You
Mhm.
just don't think as much.
Yeah.
But just when it does hit, it hits just as hard. And you get in those slumps. Like my dad's birthday is March 13th coming up.
Mm.
During that time, it's hard to like get through those moments. And that's so hard to explain to people, like, cause like people will come and be like, so how did you get through it? And obviously, I had my music, I had my friends. Not everybody's gonna have music, maybe not have friends.
Mhm.
It's always about finding what you can do to make yourself better. And it's hard to even like about that with people because you haven't even figured it out. So
Mhm.
when you haven't even figured it out, it's hard to help other people figure it out. But then you learn eventually through other people that they never figured it out either. It
Mhm.
just all
Mm-hmm.
comes and goes, and kind of like you was talking about that, with that one girl,
Oh, Allison,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, how you saying like it's just a moment.
It's just a moment.
You can, I feel like it's hard to teach people to get through moments. You can't teach people to get through moments. It's
Yeah.
something that as an individual you gotta like learn yourself.
Mhm.
Sometimes that's hard.
Mhm.
Everybody like like Dylan could be more like he can feel a lot more than I could. It just like everybody's different.
Mhm.
So it is nice to have somebody just to relate to. And when he comes to me and asks me questions, I love just relaying it because maybe it would help him.
Yeah.
And but it's nice to know that like for me, like I've been through it, right? He's saying like, well, he's like he likes to like somebody that he can look back on that's been through it. Now, like I've been through it, and it just sometimes like it's selfish to think. It's just like, dang, like I feel like nobody around me goes through it,
Mm.
and then other people around me start going through it. And then now like I don't feel as alone in it, which
Mm.
it does feel selfish, but then that brings you a bond to feel like I could talk to somebody about my feelings too.
Mm.
Cause before it's like, somebody's talking to you and it's like they're asking you questions, but like there's not a lot of people I can go talk to and like express it. So it's like when other people go through it, you feel not alone in it.
Mm.
And then now you're going through it in life with people that going through the same stuff, same similarities, and it can help you coast along. So that's what like is really cool about having somebody that has similar like things. It's just that's always a blessing to have. Just different perspectives can teach each side and different
Yeah.
things.
Yeah, one of the things that really amazed me about Allison's story is you see so many people go through a hardship and they turn to toxic things.
Mhm.
Like they become an alcoholic, a drug user. I mean, I don't know. You can name a plethora of bad paths to go down
Mhm.
after that happens, and it is an escape, if
Mhm.
if you just drink every night, it numbs the pain.
Mhm.
I think that's one of the reasons why they drink is maybe you were talking about the rain coming. You just got to go through it, and that
Mhm.
alcohol is kind of like just kicking the can down the road with that,
Mhm.
and
Mm-hmm.
um, I guess my you did mention something about like they just have to go through it. Um, but I think yes, you're right. But at the same time, I think there's ways like as you're going through it to be like, no, don't go down that path
Mm-hmm.
and go this path instead. Like Allison lost a bunch of weight. She got into to a whole bunch of different healthy things and healthy activities, found new friends, and it was I was amazed with how she chose healthy directions instead of those toxic ones.
You know, it's really difficult. And like the topic you're talking about, you can say like, hey, don't go down that path, right?
They can choose though.
They you know, like they're gonna do what they want at the end of the day.
Yeah.
You know, so she went down a healthy path.
Yeah.
If I have a friend talking to me and then I'm like, you should do this, and they go down the wrong path.
Yeah.
Different paths. Not saying like getting into the alcohol and drug is not okay. It's really not. But at the same time, some people just can't handle certain things as well as others.
Yeah.
So they might feel just as lost.
Yeah.
So even if somebody is go down the wrong path, you do got to make sure that you like it is okay that you do that. You
Yeah.
can get out of it. You can be better.
Mm-hmm.
It's not
Go.
because not everybody can just go strictly to the positive, and you can try to like pull them that way, but sometimes somebody's more weight is more than you can even pull, and
Yeah.
more than they can pull.
Mm-hmm.
But as long as you try to be there for somebody, and that's what it matters. And it happens so much that people go into the negative.
Yeah.
I even go into the negative sometimes. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
There's times where I get upset and I want to just indulge and just forget.
Yeah.
But it's just best that eventually you try to think like somebody, like you will get there one day. Like
Mm.
even if somebody goes down the negative, you got this. You will get it one day. That's what
Yeah.
I like to think.
Speaking on that path thing though, I gotta like I was saying with Rob, you know, with my grandma about to pass, you know, not about to pass, you know what I mean, but got stuff going on in surgery and stuff because like legit, like realistically, she got surgery in 5 weeks. She got neck surgery one day and then back surgery the next day. You know what I mean? She's 83. You know what I mean? And I was talking to Rob about it because you know what I mean. Like realistically, if I'm talking realistically, without my grandma, you know, like I'm a really hateful person. You know what I mean? Like underneath, you know, like being all happy and stuff. You know, like it's shitty to say, you know, like I hate everything. You know what I mean? And I was talking about it, you know, I was like, you know, like I don't know what's gonna happen after she, you know, passes. Because realistically, I think another very important, the only other important person in my life, like family wise, you know, I think they're going on the wrong path where they could pass too. You know what I mean? Those are the only two people that I, you know what I mean, like are locked in, you know, and care about, you know. And I was telling you, you know what I mean, like I'm just gonna go to like I feel like I'm just gonna go to hate, you know what I mean, like and just want to like hurt everything, you know, and like especially like you know, because I like learning MMA, you know what I mean? Specifically because, you know, like I got so much anger and stuff built behind everything, you know what I mean? And that's when he told me, he was like, you know, just fight. You know what I mean? You don't got to take the path of going to hurt somebody, you're going to fuck somebody up or going to do some certain things. Like, but I mean, you can build your body and work here every day and put the right effort in and then do it the right way, you know?
Mhm.
And that definitely put me down a different path because there's nights where I'm just thinking of like, you know, you know, what's that first feeling I'm gonna get when my grandma's gone? You know what I mean? Because like I can't even put in their perspective of anybody. Like just imagine you praise your grandma like she was God. You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
that's how I praise my grandma like she's God. You know what I mean? Like losing that, like pretend like I could put in perspective as if like you were a Christian and you passed away just to find out that there wasn't heaven. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
That's why I'm figuring out like thing like dang like my grandma passed like thing that if my grandma could pass away and there's no way that I could survive. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
and going down that path of like just hatred and being a crappy
Mhm.
person, you know, and like I couldn't imagine me, you know, doing that. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? And
It's so easy to fall down the wrong path.
It
mhm,
is.
And
Yeah.
a lot of people judge too much when
Mhm.
people fall down the wrong path.
mhm,
And a lot of people, I feel like, need to empathize, you know, or
Empathy.
yeah,
Yeah.
empathy. Yeah, have more empathy for somebody that falls in that path, you know, just because it's hard to even, once you get kicked down, it's hard to get up.
it really is. Mhm.
How do you have that empathy while still holding somebody accountable to their actions?
It's hard. You
Yeah.
know, I got a family member struggling right now, not doing the best choices. I try to have empathy for her, but sometimes it's hard because I hold that accountability because it's like you have different reasons to do better than just yourself.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like you got to be more for not just you
Right.
and just for other people that need it more than you do. People weigh on the past too much.
Yeah.
I weigh on the past too much. I haven't found that accountability and empathy yet because I'm in that place where it's like, obviously I have that empathy because I understand, and then
Mhm.
also have that accountability because I don't understand why you don't do something like you should.
Yeah.
Because same situation, I did it, different car. People get different cars. You can be in the same family, brother, sister, but I get a full house, you get nothing.
Mm,
Like in cars, cars you're dealt with.
mhm,
So like if you like do like the car swap, like Texas Hold'em, whatever, it's car swap, you might not be able to do that. I was able to do that, got a better hand.
mm.
So I try to have that empathy of like, you didn't get the best of hand, I got a better hand. So I do emphasize that, but at the same time as like, you have to have that it's really on like, you have to have that responsibility and accountability of yourself. You
Mm.
got to take accountability for yourself. So that accountability part, I feel like it's more like you can have that empathy, but the accountability, if they don't take accountability for themselves, it takes away from the accountability like you hold to them. Because without their
Exactly.
accountability for their self, you can't hold nobody account. You can hold them accountable, but they got to hold their self accountable.
Same with
Yeah.
respect too. You can't
Yeah.
the exact same. Like
Mm.
I definitely feel that with the empathy and it's really hard for me too. You know what I mean? Because I would do that exactly with the other person that's important in my life. I don't want to go into their name, but you know what I mean? This person's going through the absolutely most crazy stuff, but they put themselves there.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And the amount of times I try to help them, but then they hit me with the worst things that you could say to somebody. You know what I mean? It's like that person don't even understand like how important they are to you. You know what I mean? So then you get to the point where you gotta hold them accountable, but then you start having too much empathy for them because you see what's going on in their life and you're
Mhm.
not there pushing them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
Have you ever heard of toxic empathy?
no.
It's like if you're if my kid's a drug dealer, or I mean a drug addict, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mm,
And they're about to get kicked out of their house. Toxic empathy might be something like, "Hey, let me give you $1,000 over and over and over and
Mm-hmm.
pay for your rent while you do drugs and spend your money on drugs," instead of saying, listen, you got to quit this
It's
or
hard.
else I'm not going to. And so toxic empathy, like for the disabled community, is a parent pushing their child when their child can do it on their
Mm-hmm.
own.
really?
It does more harm, right? Because they're learning how to be dependent on their
Mm-hmm.
parents pushing them versus actually, and you think you're doing a good deed at the time when you're doing these things, right?
Mhm.
But you're not. You're really, and my mom has a quote: "If you break a bone, it'll heal. If you break their spirit, it'll paralyze them for a lifetime."
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like it's that kind of concept of, um, I don't know. It's interesting because that empathy. I agree. I think I think it is hard to have that accountability, but I also like I think everybody has somebody in their life that you just wanna shake and be like,
Yes.
You have so much potential in your life, and you have no idea how much potential you actually have if you just do it." And
Mm-hmm.
and then you get angry, right? And
Ain't it
you
like
just go
crazy?
ahead.
Sorry, but ain't it so crazy how you can also how too much of both can also break their spirit. You know what I mean? Like you don't want to give them so much empathy, but then you want to hold them accountable so much. But I mean, but then you get to the point where you feel like if I'm holding them so accountable and they're not doing nothing, you know what I mean?
They're
That
just gonna get discouraged.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
then at that point they're just gonna break. You know what I mean?
So true.
It's really a tough middle, especially if it's family.
Mhm.
If
Yes.
it's family, like you just love and care for them so much, it's hard to hold that accountability,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
especially if you feel for them
Yeah.
and all that, and like you want to create excuses for them,
Mm-hmm.
and obviously they're going to want to create excuses for themselves. And you know how you say you want to just shake them because you have so much potential.
Yeah.
Sometimes I feel like I need to do that to myself.
Yeah,
You know
yeah.
what I mean? And like I do sometimes, and have a hard time just like holding people accountable because I feel like I'm judging.
Mm,
That's my thing. Is like if I think like, oh, like there might be like if I'm thinking of a situation like I'm holding them accountable, but sometimes I feel like I'm just judging.
yeah.
And I feel like some people don't need judge. They need empathy, but sometimes people just need to hear it flat out.
Mhm.
And they need the
Absolutely.
hard truth, even if it hurts their feelings.
Yeah.
But like you don't want to break their spirit because you're thinking you are. But
Yeah.
sometimes if you just tell them the truth and it hurts their feelings, they might start overthinking and be like, maybe I do need to. It's just so it can go so many different ways, and you get stuck in that thought process of like, well, if I'm like this way, they might end up like this, or if I do this, it's one of the. I feel like that's as a parent, I see it all the time. Parents. my grandparents of both sides fed my mom and dad money, like you said. So I seen that my whole life. I just feel like it's just so hard to balance it. It just really is. Do you ever feel like you struggle in that too? Like as somebody that's like a little older than us, so you've been through more experiences in life.
So I what's really interesting is I grew up in I'd say a mid to higher end home.
Mm-hmm.
I grew up in a fairly rich suburb, right? And so one of the interesting contrasts is people see me and think that, oh man, he must have lived a horrible life being in a wheelchair, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or having a disability and all that. And it's like, you know, I think society in general, you know, we're very visual. Whatever minority you have, like, oh, let's feel sorry for that minority or whatever. But it's like, guys, like, I never had to worry about food growing up. You know, I could just open the refrigerator and eat. You know, so it was like it's one of those things where like I think where society in general misses is those invisible struggles that are that I don't know, like it's interesting to compare, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
I don't think you guys would would ever think, oh yeah, I'd love to be disabled, and in the same.
Sorry.
It is funny. You're right. I kind of did that intentionally. Like, but at the same time, I would never want to grow up to where I'm not. I don't have food.
Mm-hmm.
You know. So it's like, you know, I don't want to like say, oh, this is worse or this is worse, but like I don't know. We're blind to those invisible struggles. Let's say.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
So with you being disabled, let's just say you're not, like you wasn't. You think you'd be the same person that you are now if you wasn't disabled?
Absolutely not.
So
Um.
do you appreciate that? Like,
Yeah.
I, see, like me growing up the way I did, I appreciate that because
Mhm.
it made me who I am. You know, it structured me how I am.
Yeah.
And so the way I think about it is like, so you had more hardships than I had just from yourself. You know, you had to learn how to like just be dependent.
Mhm.
Um, I feel like that will give you more motivation as a person. You have more motivation just to do better because you have to. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Me, I might not have as much motivation because, like, as in, like, I have just the more, like, I don't know how to put it. Like, you know, you had to work harder for yourself than I did, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I think those are like we're trying to balance the scale here of like, oh, because I'm disabled versus you're able-bodied. Like
Mm-hmm.
again, like what you went through in life, and I'm sure we've just barely scratched the
Yeah.
surface of what you've been through. Like I didn't go through
Yeah.
that.
I don't think it matters if somebody grew up rich or poor. You
Mm,
can grow up rich and have the, like, biggest mental struggle, but to somebody, it might not be as big, but for you, it's big.
yeah.
And like, even though like you said, you had food in your fridge,
Mhm.
I'm sure there's times you went through struggles just mentally. Cause there might like when you was younger and you're learning stuff, you probably just had just like you was getting frustrated at yourself trying to learn something and you had to work
Mhm.
like hard just to get things done, you know? And
Yeah.
so I feel like it's just
You,
everybody has that
you,
thing to them.
you know what's interesting? I'm gonna ask you guys this.
Mm-hmm.
I asked my parents this on the podcast. So I grew up with ADHD as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, "Hey, which do you think impacted me more as a kid, ADHD or spina bifida?" What would you
You
think?
know, if you have ADHD in a wheelchair, that
Mhm.
must be really hard. You know what I mean? Like you're sitting still. I mean, obviously you can move around and stuff, but like
Yeah.
there has to be some type of because like I have ADHD and there's times I can't sit still.
Yeah.
So that
Wait,
has to be
are you asking us what we think was harder for you?
yeah.
Yeah,
I
no,
think
like
AD.
if you grew up with one or the other, spina bifida or ADHD,
Oh well,
what do you think would be
Oh,
harder?
I think we both grew up with ADHD. I
Okay.
had ADHD and it shoot like it affected me to points of where I acted the things that I did. I realistically think I got a felony off of ADHD. And then
Oh.
like even in school, you know what I mean? Like going to classes and having teachers be like, "Did you take your medicine?" You know what I mean? Like having like BS like that happen, you know, and like I don't know, like
So
I'm like
so let me ask it for me.
mm,
What do you think my parents? What do you think I struggled with more growing up? ADHD or spina bifida?
I would.
spina bifida. That's me, I think so.
Oh, for you or just like your parents?
Well, we came to the same answer.
Okay. Honestly, I want to say the spinal thing, but
hmm
honestly, probably 80. It's like,
The way I phrased the question, I think
I mean,
I gave the answer away.
I'm sure it got easier over time because like once y'all like figured out your figured out like how to get things going. Because I'm sure like when you was born and stuff, and they all figured that out. I bet it was difficult. They
Yeah,
probably didn't even know what to even do.
for
And then
them, not me.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
I was a baby.
And then even when you got older, just realizing that you just things that you have to do, I bet
hmm
that was just frustrating. So I want to say that honestly,
Yeah.
just in my thought process, because like I have ADHD, but I don't think 88. Besides maybe like sitting in school for 8 hours, like trying to pay
Mhm.
attention. Besides that, I don't think it really affected my life too
Mm,
much to the point where like that would affect my life a lot.
Yeah. ADHD hands down affected me more growing up than spina bifida.
Mm.
Mhm.
And the I think it was just, you know, sitting down and learning and doing things like that. And you were talking about moving, and you know, me being grateful for where I am as far as spina bifida goes and all that. I mean, even ADHD, right? But one thing I'll tell you that you guys probably don't know is I was the number one wheelchair tennis player in the U.S.
Word.
And when I was in the 18 and under division,
Mhm.
and I had the opportunity to travel overseas multiple times, all expenses paid, to compete for the U.S. in juniors.
That's dope.
Mhm.
And so here I am today as a wheelchair tennis coach, adaptive tennis coach, blind and
Mhm.
visually impaired tennis coach, and I'm like paying that forward, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like so, like you asked if my life would be different if I was able bodied. Like I question, and I've actually had a conversation with this on my podcast. Like if you could be healed today, would you want to do it? And I I think maybe like I think I'd be a fool to say no, right? But like my life is so adapted right now,
Mm.
and imagine like I have a birth defect, and so imagine somebody getting in a car wreck at
Mhm.
like midlife, and then they have to relearn everything. That would be me, except the other way around. Like
Mhm.
I'd have to relearn everything that I'm doing in life, and like I don't know. It would still be an adjustment, maybe a positive adjustment. Um, but then I've played wheelchair sports all my life. I still go to
Mhm.
wheelchair tennis tournaments. Those are gone.
Mm.
Like
Yeah, and you wouldn't be the number one junior. You know, like
yeah,
that's just an accomplishment in anybody being number one in anything. That just like, I mean, some people like to be more one than others, but like when you're number one at something, that makes you feel good regardless of who you are. You know
yeah,
what I mean?
hmm
And then you got to go overseas.
yeah,
You might not have ever got to go overseas if you was walking. You
e-
know, like so
exactly.
that is cool to think about. You know what I mean? Like that's cool that like you got to make your life what it is, you
Yeah.
know, and that's very inspirational that you didn't get discouraged of something negative, but you turned it into positive.
Yeah, and I think I'm also like super fortunate. My mom always says that it was God given, but like I mean, my parents' podcast just came out recently, and man, if you listen to that, you understand really like where that thought process comes from.
Mhm.
It's like
Mhm.
um, they they never like my mom told this story about how like um if I died and went to heaven, I'd want to bring my crutches with me, right? Like when I was a kid, and it's like, what? That's such a weird thing for a kid to say. Like,
Mm.
I still want to be disabled in heaven. Is basically what I said.
Yeah.
You
Like,
know, and you know that like it makes you, you know what I mean? It
yeah,
makes you, and like you know how like your motto is rolling forward, you know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah.
You really are rolling forward. You know what I mean? You took like
hmm
literally an I would say a negative. Like if that was me, I would see that as a negative, but you took that negative and made it a positive.
Yeah.
You really don't see that a lot either.
You know,
No.
and honestly, like even though like I don't even like the word disabled.
Nah.
You know what I mean? Because it's
Yeah.
like, honestly, like, that's, like, what it is, but you're probably more able than I am in so many ways.
Sure.
You
Mhm.
know what I mean? Like, your upper body
Mm.
is probably way stronger than mine and stuff. Just mentally, just, like, how you just how to just think and how to, like, learn and adapt.
Mhm.
You
That's
know,
important.
sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you, but do you ever be like, look at somebody else's life and it's a shitty thing or a crappy thing to do, but like, and then you immediately feel better about yourself, you know what I mean? But then you start thinking about like, dang, or like look at somebody and look at their life, but they're happy. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? And you're like, why am I not happy? But
Mm,
should be happier than them. You know what I mean? And
mhm.
it
Yeah.
definitely really puts a perspective. Or seeing somebody, you know, like seeing somebody that came from the bottom and they get all the way up. You know what I mean? And then you're right where you're at. You know, like
Mhm.
you know, it's actually really interesting.
It just
Yeah.
shows you gotta make the best out your situation.
Hmm.
Yeah, and like people have asked me before, they're like, "Oh man, like you're such a happy and positive person," and I don't know, Dylan, you kind of said this earlier, but it's like what choice do I have? Like,
Honestly, yeah.
is it really a good choice to sit and lay in bed and watch TV all day and feel
Mhm.
sorry for myself? No.
Hmm.
So
Mm-mm.
like I'm not gonna feel sorry for myself, and I'm gonna keep rolling forward,
Oh yeah.
and try to do the best I can with
And
the
even
cards that I'm given.
even
Yeah.
going above the average person, exactly what you're doing, going above just normal.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Doing
Mm.
the absolute most, which is absolutely amazing.
I'm
And that
trying.
means more for yourself, and it means a lot more for others that just get to look at like
Hmm.
that, and then somebody will be inspired by that.
Mhm.
Like if, even me, like just looking at that is like sometimes I get negative about my life, but
Yeah.
like honestly, I gotta sit down and be like, my life is better than some people's life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's really inspirational to see what certain people do. I
So
mean,
so it's interesting, the word inspiration in the disabled community is kinda like a sour word,
mm,
and the reason is because when I was working in customer facing, customers would tell me, "Oh, I'm so inspired by you working here," or I'm so
mm,
inspired you got out of bed in the morning," right? Now, I think where your inspiration comes from is I just told you about a lot of things that I'm doing in my life,
yeah,
and that's something to aspire to.
mm-hmm,
And so what happens in the disabled community a lot is like they're thrilled that you can put your shoes on in the morning, right? Like
mm-hmm.
it's just patronizing. So
That right there is just, man. I'm just thrilled that like just you took anything, like any hardship in life, and you took it and made it your own and happy, and you
mhm,
made something out of it.
mhm,
Like, you're a coach, right? So like
mhm.
you get to pass down things to other kids. You get to show other kids, maybe you might get to teach a kid to get to do what you got to do, go overseas.
Yeah.
And that's just amazing.
Yeah, and a dope thing about like disabled people, you know, when I go back to like saying like reflection, you know, and always asking people, you know what I mean? But you know, you see a disabled person and you know, you don't have to go ask them nothing. You know what I mean? You know that they're doing what they're supposed to do on the daily basis, no matter what, you know what I mean? Like and like not every disabled person, you know, has somebody that can, you know what I mean, help them. You know what I mean? There's so many disabled people that are just going through life like a regular person, like nothing's wrong. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? And that's definitely like something, you know, that pushes me forward, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
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 I,
I think it just goes back to like we're all dealing with something in life.
yeah.
Like I'm just dealing with something visual,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. And
So,
it's mental too, I'm sure. It's just
yeah.
it's nice to see just people being successful in any type of hardship. You
Yeah.
know, like that makes me that you have to be an athlete for USA just
Mhm.
overseas,
Mhm.
regardless if you was disabled or not. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? That's just like I mean, I'm an athlete. I love sports.
Mhm.
You know, like I'm small, not the biggest. You know, I wish I was a USA athlete.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I wish I could go overseas and do something.
Right.
That's
Right.
so amazing.
Yeah.
And just for somebody just to do that, you know, that's just really cool. I always wanted to be some type of coach.
Yeah.
You know, like something and something.
And it really inspires me that, you know, like you're a happy person too. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Because it's like especially, you know, when I'm going through my stuff and you say that we relate in so much stuff with happiness wise, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
And you could think, you know, like with somebody that's going through something, you know, you think like, why are they having the same perspective as me almost? You know what I
Mhm.
mean? And it's really like a really big question. It's a really big question I'd be thinking about like this like just that in general, you know?
Yeah, but so here's another interesting parallel that I had with one of my friends. He's actually an artist as well, a
Mhm.
music artist. Um, w- One of the things he was asking me about is something like being happy and disabled, and I equate it to like so Dylan. It sounds like you're going through something in life that has changed.
Mhm.
Like, so your life has changed, something in your life has changed,
Mhm.
right? My life hasn't changed since birth. Like, I've gone through surgeries and stuff like that, right? But it's like it's like if you tape your fingers together, would it get annoying? Yes. It's gonna get really annoying, but over time, your fingers are just gonna be taped together and you're
Mhm.
not gonna think anything of it, right?
Mhm.
So it's like it's I think it's less about my current condition and more about like changes that happen in your life that are super hard to work with,
Mhm.
right?
Was there ever a point in time where you felt like you had to, like, overcome it, you know what I mean? Like, a time as a kid where you, like, just started getting thoughts of what it'd be like, you know, as if you weren't without, you know?
Um, yeah, yes and no, but like, man, I had such a great childhood with like the wheelchair sports and stuff like that. Like, I think if I were able-bodied, I wouldn't have been number one in the country. Like
Mhm.
the like no disrespect to disabled sports, but the competition isn't as fierce. So like it's easier, let's say, to get to a top level. And yes, I worked my bum off, but I don't know that I was skilled enough to be that number one person in the country and able bodied. Let's say I
Mhm.
don't know.
But
So
I'd probably say the other way for around it too, though. I'll doubt my mind that somebody that is a number one sport in American and, you know, what I mean, good could go to be being disabled and be anywhere near number one,
yeah,
you know?
yeah. I mean, again, I'm not trying to discount it or anything like that, but
Mhm.
I just don't. Yeah. So you asked if I ever. I think you asked something like if I ever felt down or anything like
Yeah,
that,
like
right?
down, like, cause since you said you've had it since birth, so it's not like you, like on a
Mhm.
motorcycle accident, and then like, dang, like I know what I was before. But do you
Yeah.
ever get those thoughts of of being, you know, different?
So, do you remember the first Avatar movie?
Mhm.
Mhm.
So, the first Avatar movie was one of my favorite movies of all time.
Word.
And it's basically the disabled guy that is paralyzed from the waist down
Mhm.
and gets in this body that is fully functional, right? And I remember the scene of him on the beach and in his avatar, right? And he looks down and the sand is going through his toes.
Mhm. I know the exact scene.
I've never been able to feel that. And that's interesting to me. Like it's not something that I'm like, "Oh man, like this sucks," or anything like that, but like that really hit me when
Mhm.
that scene happened because it's like, "Whoa." Like again, I've been paralyzed my whole life, so I've never been able to feel or move my feet.
Mhm.
It's funny because like sometimes I'll bang my toe up against something and I'll just say "ow"
Mhm.
because I know
Oh,
anybody
that's crazy. That's crazy.
because I know anybody else that does that, it does hurt like
Like,
hell.
motherfucker.
So, yeah, I mean, there are moments. I think it's very few and far between the moments, and like I don't know. Like I learned early on, like focus on what you can control,
Mhm.
not what you can't,
Mm.
and so I think focusing on what I can control has helped. And I I don't know, like it's affected me, let's say, but it's all I've ever known.
Mm.
So I don't know.
So I got a question.
Yeah.
Do you ever get like frustrated with with society with like how they might handle your disability? You know,
Yeah.
some people are more understanding than others. Some people want to learn about it so they can understand it, but some people just go straight into like assuming or judging or
Yeah.
like some people might just think they're helping, but in reality, like how you said, like it might be frustrating because you want to do it on your own. Because
Yeah.
somebody might be like, "Oh, let me get," but like you want to do
Mhm.
it because you
Yeah.
can.
Yeah.
So like, does that ever like set you back anyway sometimes? Like, or make you like get in a funk?
Yeah, I mean, there's tons of things in society that frustrate the heck out of me. Like I think helicopter parents. Are you familiar with that?
Yeah.
Basically, parents that hover around their
Oh
kid
yeah.
and don't like just baby the heck out of their kid and don't let them flourish or be independent or
Mhm.
anything like that. Like able-bodied, it's more prevalent in the disabled community because like it's almost like they think their kid is like an egg that they can't let crack or anything
Mhm.
like that or and so you know there's things like that that frustrate me. um you know when a bathroom isn't handicap accessible or
Mhm.
sometimes they have bathrooms where they are handicap accessible but the door opens in to
Mm.
the bathroom, and so when you get in the bathroom, like, there's enough space, but you can't close the door because
Mhm.
your wheelchair's in the way.
Mhm.
So, like, there are definitely I mean, I have a list, and I talk about this often on my podcast about
Mhm.
various things that are interesting. Um, when when I open doors for able-bodied people, we were talking about awkward moments before the podcast, and I love opening doors for able-bodied people because yes, it's a nice thing to do,
Mm.
but it is so fascinating to see the different reactions you get when a guy in a wheelchair opens a door for an able-bodied person.
Mhm.
Like they don't want to go through the door
Yeah.
a lot of times. They're like,
Really?
"Oh, I'll get it for you,"
Mhm.
then there's like so many different ways of like them opening the door for you that just makes it even more awkward. And if they just went through the door when I opened it, like it's great. But
Mhm.
again, I kind of like if I'm going to a door with an able-bodied person, I will go faster and
Really?
open so that I can open the
Mhm.
door for them.
Oh my god.
But anyway,
So
eh,
I have another
yeah,
thing. So what would you like give any like thing to like? So obviously like like I'm not disabled, so I'm not as like inclined. Like I'm not as in like I don't know a lot. And sometimes when like you said about the door situation,
yeah,
sometimes I don't want to open the door for somebody in a wheelchair because I don't want to offend them because they could do it themselves.
yeah,
And I don't want to make them feel like, so what's your best advice for things like that? Like how to be respectful but helpful or like
yeah.
just like how to like, because I guarantee you some people just don't know how to like interpret it. Like their reactions, like you said, they're like, oh, I don't want to go. Let me hold the door for you. Like that
Mhm.
thing. Like, what's your best advice on that? Of like how to like handle a situation like that?
Yeah, I mean, I think if a person in a wheelchair opens a door, they're perfectly
Mhm.
capable of opening that
Yeah.
door because you
Mhm.
just saw them.
Mhm.
So they're opening the door for you, so just go through.
Mhm.
And if you're wondering if they can get through the door, you can ask them like, "Hey, do you want me to hold it for you?" "No, go ahead." So I think I think the best advice that I have for anybody is don't assume.
Don't assume. Yeah.
Right? Like, don't assume that because I can walk a little bit. You
Mhm.
guys, I
Yeah.
think you've seen me
Yeah. I
stand up,
have
Y
that
but
TikTok you have. That
yeah.
I showed my grandma that. She loved it.
Yes.
She thought it was funny because I was telling her about this, and I said, "Look at this. Look how funny." Like I said, it's like I told her like it's not funny, but it is funny. You know
It's
what I mean?
hysterical.
And because I was telling her about you and all that, and yeah, I showed her, and she thought that was hilarious.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, but yeah, don't assume. Ask before
Mhm.
you do something that's maybe not normal or
Mhm.
like that is different for somebody else. So
Mhm.
like, I had there was a quadriplegic who I played tennis with back in the day, and he said that he was training, and the way he trains is he goes up this he goes down this hill and then works and pushes up the hill. And it's a busier place where people are walking. And so oftentimes, or some of the time, people would come up behind him and just start pushing him up the hill.
Nuh-uh.
And he's like, no, like I'm training right now. Like leave me alone. Like it might look like I'm struggling up this hill, but I'm not. I'm doing this intentionally if I am struggling. So
Mhm.
if someone was just like, "Hey, do you need help?" like that would alleviate all that,
Mhm.
right?
I got told by this like a long time ago because by a teacher. It was a old teacher when I was in like elementary school. He told me that just because somebody disabled doesn't make them not normal. They're
Yeah.
probably more normal than you are.
Mm,
They're probably more able than you are, to be honest. That's what
yeah.
like he told me. He told us straight up as kids because every school has kids of all different types,
Mhm.
different disabilities, different all types of stuff, and it's important to at an early age, especially at a kid, because we're curious and stuff. They're going to judge.
Yeah,
They're going
yeah.
to say things that like they don't understand.
Mhm.
So I always was told that people with disabilities might not necessarily be a like yes it is, but they're not to them they're not disabled. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah, yeah.
Like you say you had it your whole life, so you worked with it your whole life. I wouldn't say you're disabled. I mean, obviously, like yeah, but like you could. I know, like look at like all the stuff you do. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's like I always got told that like just because somebody is disabled doesn't mean they're less than somebody. They're
Yeah.
just they're not really handicapped. They're
Mhm.
like they're just as able as you are.
So I'll say this. You actually said two different things that caught my ear.
Mhm.
One, I think I am disabled,
Mhm.
but I'm not less than,
Yeah.
right? So I think there's a really
That's what I was trying
important.
to how to put it. It's hard to
Yeah.
put it.
Well, you did say less
Yeah.
than, and you also said disabled, and that in that
Mhm.
in what you said, but I think it's super important to acknowledge that you're disabled if you're
Mhm.
disabled, right?
Mhm.
And like for example, like I will never be a firefighter,
Mhm.
right? I will never be carrying 200-pound bodies down flights of steps. That's okay,
Mhm.
right? I have other things that I can do with my life, right?
Mhm.
And so it's the less than thing
Mhm.
that I think is really important. Like I just because I'm disabled does it means that maybe I can't do certain things or I have to adapt in certain ways,
Mhm.
but I'm not less than, right?
Mhm.
I still would consider myself disabled though.
Mhm.
And yes, in society today, words are evolving and stuff like that. And in society today, they're people are so careful about using these words and like, oh, that's insensitive to say you're disabled. It's like, no, no, no. Maybe that person needs to reflect on their
Mhm.
own thought process
Yeah.
of not being able to do everything and that being okay.
Mhm. Yeah,
Does that make sense?
the reason why I'm asking so many questions because I know my nephew, he's 13, he's gonna be watching this.
Yeah.
And so with all us talking about like this stuff, he's gonna be curious. So I'm
Yeah.
asking questions so like and other viewers can like understand
Yeah.
because like they're learning us,
Mm-hmm.
but also people like from us watching, they're
Yeah.
learning you.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm asking, and then he's gonna learn something from it too.
Heck
To
yeah.
get that because he's gonna come across people that be in a wheelchair just like you, and
Mm.
I would hate for him to have like a different thought on it. I like I like him to learn stuff. That's why I'm asking questions. Plus, I'm curious too.
Yeah.
I
Yeah. Yeah.
like to pick people's brains sometimes and
I,
like to see how they think and how they process stuff.
I have a unique take on my disability, and this is not. I've had so many other people, disabled people, on my podcast, and they do not agree with this necessarily. But I I like the mindset of being curious.
Mm-hmm.
If you
Definitely.
ask me questions about my disability, it's like you getting to know a piece of who I am.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't go through anything traumatic,
Yeah.
right? So like you can tread lightly on asking somebody what their disability is and
I got a question on that too.
yeah.
What's it like, because I wasn't even thinking about that. I was like, a disabled person that was born with their disability and then someone that had theirs come from an accident.
Mhm.
What's the line between there? Is it ever timid when you meet somebody like that, or is it are
Yeah,
they ever weird towards you, or
are they ever weird?
like I don't know how to
Then,
explain.
like,
Is it
people being disabled later on in life being weird?
like I'd say like having a grudge against or
Mm,
like not really that, but is it what do you say? Do they have kind of a different mindset than you, or do you have a different mindset than somebody that like
yeah.
what's the difference between
Yeah, I mean, I think it takes years to adjust to being becoming disabled,
Mhm.
right? And so I meet a lot of people early on who haven't been disabled very long, and like I show them different tips and tricks on how to be, let's say, less crippled,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And so You know, it's interesting. My best friend Matt, he's paralyzed from the waist down. He got in a wreck his senior year,
Really?
in a skiing accident. But so we've asked each other, what would you rather have, spina bifida or just later on in life an accident? And we both say, I say spina bifida, he says paraplegic. You know, he says accident, and so it's interesting. I don't think we necessarily look at things differently, um, but he's definitely had to learn the ropes of being disabled differently than I have.
Mm.
Mm.
So yeah.
Mhm.
I'm gonna interrupt, and I want to do something a little lighthearted. I do
Mhm.
have a quick question for you.
Mhm.
How long do you think we've been going for?
Probably like an hour and a half.
2 hours.
Yeah, we've been going an hour and 54 minutes.
Wait.
It's
I
flashes by fast.
It has. It goes by so fast, and it's
Oh.
funny because we have so much more that we could cover. I don't think we'll cover it all, but we'll get to a lot of it. At this point, though, I do want to get into our wheelie bad jokes, the wheelie bad jokes segment. So here's how wheelie bad jokes works. I'm gonna tell you a wheelie bad joke. I want you to rate the joke on a scale of 1 to 10. If
Yeah.
you have a joke that you want to tell, feel free. If not, that's perfectly fine too. Um, are you ready?
Mhm.
Mhm.
All right. So this is advice to both of you, and since you're young, being in your early 20s, this is advice. So if one door closes and another door opens, your house is haunted and you need to run like hell.
That's that's a good one.
That's a 10.
That yeah, man. Because honestly, if in my house one does open like that, I would want. I believe in like I actually believe in ghosts. Like I believe in like stuff like that
Yeah,
happen.
yeah.
And there's been times in my old home that I live in that something weird happens and I can't sleep at night.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
I kind of relate to
So
that
you
one.
guys both rated a 10?
That's dope.
Wow.
I like that one actually. I've never actually heard that in my whole life.
Yeah, because that is funny because it's more like, but it's more like truthful because yeah, like if something like that, there's been times where I hear these noises. My grandma went away out of town, right?
Yeah.
I text her and I told her, I said, I hear like a TV on or a radio playing. Mind you, I'm the only one in the house. Nothing
Whoa.
else is playing. She texted me back, said, yeah, when you're gone, I hear that too. Never mentions that to me. And she was gone for a week.
What?
I couldn't sleep. I couldn't think. I wanted to leave.
That creeps me out so
You know, so like,
Oh my god.
yeah, that kind of like
I'm so happy not to live in your house. Sorry.
scary, man.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'd sleep in the car, lock the doors.
Yeah, right?
I mean, man, I try. I keep my toes under the cover so that
Yeah.
nothing can get my feet or
Yeah, I
something.
board up the
You know, like
room
that.
door and everything.
Yeah. Stay in my room, won't leave the house. Yeah,
So
definitely understand that one.
so do you guys have a wheelie bad joke that you want to tell?
I do not. You know, honestly, I was actually thinking of one because I like when I go through your podcast stuff and,
Yeah.
and I hear them.
Yeah.
I tried to like think of one, but it's so hard to think.
Yeah. No worries.
Yeah.
I get most of my jokes from a guy on social media called Logan Lyle. He's awesome. You all have to check him out. So I always try to shout him out because I do want to give credit to where I got it. So all right. So one of the things, and let me see if I can recall this. It was something Dylan said. I guess one of the things that I have for you is someone who is struggling. Let's say with finding purpose.
Mm-hmm.
What advice would you give them?
I said you need to go out and try stuff. You're gonna lack purpose if you just stay in the
Man.
same spot every day and don't
Yeah.
try any type of change.
Man, I say when you're trying to find purpose for yourself. Find purpose for yourself.
Mm,
Don't necessarily think of purpose for others. Purpose and like some people like I want to mean something to others.
yeah.
Scratch that. Others don't. To me, others. I mean, it's always nice to be noticed and appreciated by others,
Mm-hmm.
but it's most importantly for yourself.
Yeah, like a purpose for yourself.
Yeah, find a purpose that makes you happy, makes you keep going. That's the purpose that somebody needs to find. Once you find that purpose, then you find your purpose. And like you got to find your purpose in life,
Mm,
then you find purpose in other things.
mm,
Because if you got to focus on your purpose in yourself, whether that's becoming a parent, some people want to become moms, dads, or if that's becoming an athlete, fighter, musician, anything that brings you purpose and happiness in this life, because this life can get dark.
mm-hmm.
That's my best advice is find purpose in yourself. Find something that makes you genuinely happy, whether if it's video games, streaming, doing podcasts, even if it's playing chess or something even as like just basic as it could be. If it brings you happy and it brings you purpose, that's all that matters in the world, that it brings you something.
Yeah.
And no matter what, purpose is selfful. You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
at the end of the day, you need to not worry about, but you need to put yourself first no matter what. At the end
Mm,
of the day, no matter what. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, if you don't have nothing, if you don't have no purpose, and you're just going out and seeing everybody else perform their purpose, and it's just
Mhm.
life just feels, you know what I mean, just dead and gray. I mean, you like me personally, you know, like these past couple months, you know, I've just been doing the same thing over and over and over and just been in a fog, you know what I mean? And purpose has been a big thing that's been in part of my life trying to figure out, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
Going to school and trying to be an electrician and doing all this different stuff. And one thing you find out is like you can have multiple purposes across your lifetime. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like
yeah.
absolutely. And you can have purposes for people too. But I think like it's great to have purpose for your I don't know why, but purpose to me just sounds like a self word. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Like not
Yeah.
something that you throw out or
You can have like purpose for your kids,
Yeah.
purpose for your family,
Mhm.
purpose for friends, and that's all great. It is, to have purpose in other things, but you got to have purpose in life for yourself.
mhm.
Yeah.
And it's hard if you don't. You know what I mean?
Yeah. For me, purpose in my 20s was such a big it was such a big action,
Mhm.
right? And it felt maybe overwhelming to me. And one of the things now that I'm older that I've really found purpose in is coaching. And I think so I agree with you like to focus on yourself and grow and
Mhm.
whatnot. But I think a lot of in talking with a lot of people on the podcast, they find that purpose when they help other people,
Mhm.
which is
Yeah.
kind of fascinating.
I
Yeah, I
I,
understand
I
that.
would honestly, I would disagree with that, you know,
Okay.
because I'm one of those people that are selfless to the max. You know, what I mean, always trying to make people happy. You know, and I found out that I was slowly killing myself trying to worry about somebody else. You know what I mean, to the full extent
Mm.
instead of worrying about myself. You know what I mean, and I've done that multiple times. You know what I mean, I did that in high school. I was supposed to go to college. You know what I mean, and I did something like that, worrying about somebody else's life. And then, you know what I mean, my life didn't go the path I wanted to, you know, at that point. So
That's that's such a good point because
mhm,
I think it can go both ways,
Mhm.
right? I think you can be too selfish
mm,
and like that almost isolates you from other people and not
Mhm.
really going out and I don't know. Like
Definitely a long
you
thing.
were talking about wanting to be like a mentor
Mhm.
and stuff like that, and um, but I do think that if you don't focus on yourself, other people will give you a focus, if you will,
mhm,
Yeah.
and that'll take you away from like you can't conquer the world if you not conquer the world. You can't feed you can't feed everybody, right?
Mm-mm.
It's just it's impossible to do. You'll spread yourself too thin if you try
You drive yourself
to feed
crazy.
everybody. Yeah, exactly. So
I
so I
I
do see
definitely
your
feel
point
that.
there.
And then trying to make like especially please everybody. I know you feel the same way with me, trying to always constantly make people happy 24/7, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? And then like for like me, like I don't want to go too much into, you know, perspective, but recently I had to do a point where I was like, okay, I got to put myself first. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And I'd been thinking about it for a little bit and I'd been very close to this person for a minute, you know, and it was definitely something really hard, you know what I mean? Because I was definitely at that point where I'm like, I'm 22, I don't have no purpose, but if I keep on going with how things are and I know I'm about to get busier and more stuff's about to come, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
That's why I'm just in my like right now I'm in the point in my life where I'm like self-purpose is the
Mhm.
main focus I'm on right now.
Interesting.
Because it's like if like say like so you're already a coach. Like
Mhm.
I've expressed that I want to be a coach. How can I have purpose for kids, to help them and like yeah, that could be a great purpose for somebody.
Yeah.
But if I don't have purpose for myself, how can I guide a young generation if
So
I
true.
don't
Exactly.
have purpose for myself?
So true.
So like your purpose now, like you found your I feel like, you got to experience so much, so
Mhm.
like that might have not have been your purpose, like going overseas and tennis, but like that could have been. Like us as young at 23, it is important to find your self purpose
Mhm.
because without your self purpose, you can't help others
Mhm.
if you can't help yourself.
So true. And there is I forget what the percentages are, but there is a percentage of like selfish to selfless
Mhm.
that like the best leaders are. So like selfish a lot of people think is like a bad word, but what would be selfish what would be selfless for me would be every meal that I ate, instead of eating that meal, feeding it to a homeless person. That
Mhm.
would be very selfless, right?
Mhm.
But eventually I would die,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Like
Yeah.
that's
So so like
true.
if I kept eating and was selfishly eating, let's say, um, the other things of keeping myself alive, the other things that I'm doing is going to benefit other people in a
Mhm.
bigger way.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Does
Yeah,
that make sense?
yeah, you can like so that you're talking about the food, like you can have that food, you can make that food and have it for yourself,
Yeah.
but you can show somebody how to make that food
Yeah.
so they can have it for their self.
So true.
That's like so like you have purpose for yourself, but you show somebody else purpose as well.
Mhm.
That's a really good thing with how you said like, if I feed somebody else all the food I make, I'ma die.
Yeah.
But you could feed yourself, but show somebody else how to feed them.
Yeah.
I feel like it's also the same thing like balance, like we're talking about accountability and empathy. I feel like it's the same kind of
Mhm.
balance. Like you could too much or too little of both is like, you're off. But
You're
if you
you're
find
right.
that perfect balance of it,
There's a balance.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, you help yourself first, and
I
then you
guess
can help
I
others.
guess it's real when they say there's a balance in everything in life.
Yeah, yin and
Yeah.
yang, man.
Yeah.
It really everything is a full circle, and it's always balance.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Man, what show was that I like? It was Teen Wolf. It was a TV show, Teen Wolf, a little like teenager show. I liked it. I like supernatural stuff. Like somebody said that everything comes full circle. You're gonna have good goes into bad, but there's always a middle.
Mhm.
So always full circle. There's gonna be good, bad, but there's always that medium where it's like nothing.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
I think about that daily. So
Yeah.
when there's bad, it's gonna circle around to the good or
Mhm.
the medium,
Mhm.
but it's always gonna come back full circle.
Right.
Those moments, man, the moments you was talking about. I
Yeah.
think about that all the time, and that's a balance in life. It's crazy.
So the other thought that I had, and this is a very interesting thought that I think about every so often. This is a Jordan Petersonism. He says if and this is like the micro action to the bigger purpose.
Mm.
And so he says, if you really want to figure out your life, ask yourself, what remarkably stupid thing am I doing every single day? And what's cool about that is, I'll be doom scroll. I'll wake up, grab my phone, and I'll start doom scrolling.
Mhm.
Right? Like, is this getting me towards what I want to do in life?
Mhm.
And obviously, the answer is no. Right? And so you put that down, and it's like, why you were saying like just do different things. Well, sometimes when you stop doing something,
Mhm.
you have to fill it with something else.
Yeah.
And the cool realization with figuring out what remarkably stupid thing you're doing every day is you figure out the action behind what you need to do or what you actually want to do. And maybe it's that trying it. That's like, okay, well, doom scrolling isn't working. Let me go. I don't know. Do something else.
Mhm.
And then you figure out, well, no, this isn't quite it
Mhm.
either. Let me try this as well. So that's an interesting thought process. I I wanted to bring up, in my 20s, my objective was to have fun.
Mhm.
And like that's all I wanted to do. I wanted to go out. I wanted to go hang out with my friends and party some and do stuff like that. And it's interesting. Like, yes, I still like having fun, but again, like what I was saying is some Friday nights I'd rather be editing videos or what have you, you know,
You
and
know, isn't that kind of crazy? Like, a lot of like older generations will tell you, like, we did in our 20s, blah, blah, blah. And then nowadays, like, we have so much pressure in our 20s to get our lives together by like 25 or something, or like it's as if we're like screwed.
yeah,
Like,
Yeah. I do understand that though, like, like I have a good, like, I would say like our friend group has a good balance between work and then going out and having fun.
yeah,
Like we might not go out every weekend, but when we
hmm
do go out, we have fun.
sure,
So it's not like I don't get to go out and have fun in my 20s, but I do get to like work and like go on with my life. And it could change when I get older, like, but right now, I feel like if I don't have fun in life, then what's the point of life? Even if I'm 60, I still want to go out and do something, be
sure,
around people. But I'm sure the more I get older, the more I'm gonna want to be by myself.
hmm
But like, there's times where like I want to just be by myself and record.
hmm
There's times like that all the time where like it was last week. I kind of felt bad, but like they wanted to go bowling and go golf. Right? I hate bowling and I
yeah,
hate golf
yeah,
and I like being around people, but I'm like, dang, I don't want to do that. Like,
hmm
I just rather I was just in a funky mood where it's just like, I just want to do something like different, like by myself or something. Or like, it was just like one of those things I just wasn't feeling it. But when I got to go out though, it felt better. Just
yeah,
being around people felt good. Even though I don't like bowling, I had a good time. You know what I
yeah,
mean? It's kind of difficult sometimes to, even at a young age, I still want to go out and party, but there's so many times where I just want to be by myself, alone, do my
hmm
own thing. Coming after work, just chilling by myself. There's times where I don't want to be bothered,
yeah.
but it's definitely that still comes to me at this young age.
Well, the other realization is, with drinking, for example, I still drink, but I drink a lot less. And kind of my thought process with that, and maybe it's my body can't handle it as well, but like I feel dead the next day,
Mm,
right? And then I don't accomplish anything. And like I feel like my life is too like and I'm not trying to self-grandize or anything, but, like, I feel like my time is getting more and more important the more things that I'm doing, and it's like I could be planning my next tennis lesson, learning the
mhm.
next tennis skill or podcasting or whatever it might be, doing MMA, right? Like, I feel like those days of, like, just doing absolutely nothing because 'cause I'm so hungover, they're there's so much more those days are so much more valuable to me
Does that
now.
ever bug you, the pressure that brings you sometimes? Where you just feel bad that you went out and had a drink the night before and you woke up the next day feeling terrible and you just, like you said, you don't do nothing. But then you have that mental thought of like, I should be doing this, I should be doing that. Does that ever have like a bad mental strain on you?
Absolutely.
That is a struggle, as I feel like this generation's struggle.
yeah,
I could feel like,
bro, I'm telling you, like, just from the gym, if I don't go to the gym one day knowing that I'm supposed to, like, the guilty feeling, like, or like, I don't know if my grandma, like, she just wants me to get my, like, she just always wanted me to get my stuff together, you know what I mean? So that pressure I've always had 24/7, every single day, you know what I mean? Like, there's times I can't go home and take a nap because I'll wake up stressed out thinking that, like, I'm messing my life up, you
you
Mm,
know?
might feel like your body needs that nap. Or maybe
yeah.
you've been working so much, your mind needs that one night to go out. But
Mhm.
that stress of that doing nothing the next day or whatever just overweighs on you.
Yeah.
And then that can bring self doubt and like, dang, I'm not doing enough. I'm not being as productive. I'm not fulfilling my purpose.
Yeah.
That's a struggle. Like that's a real struggle that I don't even know how to deal with sometimes. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so, what one thing for me that really helped, another Jordan Peterson is tell the truth or at least don't lie. But I've always viewed that as tell the truth to other people, right? And what was interesting is I started to reflect on myself and saying, "Okay, I'm gonna do this," and then I didn't, and I did that so much. I was one of the most inconsistent people ever, and I did that so much that it really affected who I was as a person, like or how I thought of myself. Like I wasn't a reliable person, and I knew it, and so I didn't like when I told you I showed my mom my calendar. Like I didn't want to make commitments because I was afraid that I didn't trust myself enough to not break them.
I feel I
Mhm.
no, I 100% Like there be times where like I be like even with like the MMA stuff, like I'll tell Dylan, yeah, I'll go with you. And then the
Mhm.
next day I don't feel it at all. My inspiration's gone.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that I'd say I've ever been fully 100% consistent in is the gym,
Mm.
because it's the only thing that heals me. You know what I mean? Like that's the one thing I've been able to find consistency in that's actually helping me. You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
sad to say I smoke every day and I think it's helping me. You know what I mean? And it's just like how Wyatt said, like it's just pushing the demons and stuff back
Mhm.
just for a little bit longer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's the same with music. Like music, like yeah, I get deterred in music and I might not want to do it one day, but like I'm like I'm pretty consistent with music. I might not drop music a lot like I should, but
Mhm.
like as in like doing music, like recording, I'm pretty consistent. You know, like I go almost weekly to make a song.
Mhm.
You know, but when it comes to like MMA, you know, sometimes like I have a real bad problem with motivation just to even get up in the morning sometimes.
Yeah.
I'm not necessarily depressed, you know what I mean? I don't
Mhm.
hate my life. I struggle in my thoughts of like being productive. Like, you know, you're saying like how you just sit there and do nothing, you know,
Yeah.
like or like I get so frustrated in myself because sometimes I'm unreliable.
Mhm.
Not that I'm unreliable, just sometimes like it's I feel like my body's like not my mind, my mental's unreliable. Like I don't have the motivation to go out and just do something.
I
Mhm.
definitely feel you on that motivation. It's crazy. Like sometimes, bro. Like it's this sounds so crazy, but like I give myself motivation so much by like hate myself so much sometimes. You know, like hating my
Mhm.
life, hating what I'm doing. Like, and it's crazy that you can get motivation from self doubt and stuff. You know what I mean? But that also like, where else is the best place to get motivation from if you're not trying to just push yourself? You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
And then that's like a double-edged sword though, because like, you know, you're beating yourself up and it's
Mhm.
giving you motivation, but you're also beating yourself up.
Yeah, that's why that's been.
And it's negative. It is a negative thought. And I just would, you know, I see some people like, you know, like I got a friend named Lane, right? This
Mhm.
dude works 24 hours, like at least one day a week, because he's
Mhm.
on call for the
Mhm.
water district, right? And I'll come in work like 2 hours late, you know, 1 hour. I'm consistently coming in work. I do a good job at work. I'm a good
Mhm.
worker, but
Mhm.
as in, like, just when I get up, it's like I struggle to get up out of sleep, and it's
Yeah.
been like that, honestly, since my parents passed, and I don't know why.
Uh,
You know what I mean? So I just don't know why. Like, ever since I struggle to sleep, I struggle to wake up, you know, and I don't know why, but I beat myself up over it so much
yeah.
because it's a problem that I have that I
Yeah.
don't know how to overcome it and stuff. So it's like a problem that, like, I beat myself over up, and it's just like, I wish I had motivation like others sometimes. You know, I see my friend Lane, he gets up and goes to a hard job every day. My job's not that hard, you know, it's really not. But I wish I was more motivated like others.
Yeah.
And then that is a way on like I feel like a lot of young people can like understand that it's just so hard to be motivated sometimes.
I always get in that motivation talk with so many people, but then
Mhm.
like the one thing that I realize is the one thing that overshadows motivation ultimately is discipline. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like discipline is the act of doing something even if you don't got motivation, because you're not always gonna have
Mhm.
motivation, but if you always have discipline, then you're good.
And I wish I
100%.
had more. I wish I had more discipline. You know, I
I
really
feel you
do.
on
Like
that.
I feel like everybody could say they can have more
Mhm.
discipline, but
Yeah.
me in general, I have like some discipline, but
Mhm.
like I wish I had more. I wish I had more motivation, more discipline, and then it's all on me.
And
Mhm.
it's my bad, but it's crazy that you can build discipline, but you can't build motivation.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it's weird.
Yeah.
It's a hard struggle to figure out because it is all on you. It's up to you to be motivated. It's nobody else. It's up to you to
Mhm.
go out and be productive.
Hmm.
But
Yeah.
like, it's so hard to do it, just to do it. You want
Mhm.
to say it, you think it. Like I think every day I want to start a business. I
Mhm.
can have the whole thought process in my head, but my body won't. My mind can think it, but my body won't do it. I won't take
Mhm.
advantage of it, and I will literally beat myself down because I won't take advantage of what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
I have the mindset of what I can be, but I
Mhm.
don't have the actions or the motivation to be what I could be.
Mhm.
And that's what I think I'm struggling with right now at my age is finding that motivation, that go, and it's hard. It's like I haven't found it yet.
Yeah.
And it's hard to find. You know, you look up videos, you look up people to give you advice, but it's just stressful. It's
Yeah.
really it's
Ain't
like
it
a big
weird?
way.
Like you can kind of crave motivation, like you could crave serotonin, kind of
Mhm.
like in like odd things a little bit too. Like me, like
Mhm.
shoot, I'll like serotonin. I'll get serotonin from smoking weed. You know what I mean? Or but like motivation, like it's weird. Like I gotta get motivation. Like if I want motivation really for MMA, I gotta fight. I gotta watch fights. You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
it's that's why like I love like trying to learn discipline, because I like you can pull discipline out your hair. You know what I mean? If you
Yep.
got it. You
Yep.
know like you like there's been times where you know like I freaking like was pushing back the gym. I'm like, I'm not gonna go. And then there's times that I've came here at 11 p.m. at night. You know what I mean? Been here until 2 in the morning by myself, nobody here. You know, like just
Mhm.
off of discipline, no motivation at all, you know?
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, so I Wyatt, I heard you say a couple things, and
Mhm.
it's so eerily similar to how I've been in my life in the past, and to an extent still am, somewhat. Um, so just a story to kind of explain it. When I went to college, I don't have a degree. I went to college for several years. I don't know if you've ever seen the movie Van Wilder, but I always told people I was going to be the next Van Wilder. He's basically this guy that partied all the time and just delayed graduation and delayed graduation. And one of the things that happened to me is I I thought I was invincible, right?
Mhm.
I would go out partying really late at night, and think that I could get to a class at 8 o'clock in the morning. And I tell myself that, like, oh yeah, you're gonna be fine. You can do
Mhm.
it. You can do anything, and just discipline. That's all you need, right? And so, sure enough, time for me to get up rolled around, and I just nope, I'm not going to class today. And
Mhm.
so I would skip, right? And so then I'd get up and get ready for my next class. I'd go to that, right? And the I beat myself up so much that the next day rolled around and I didn't go to that same class.
Yeah,
And
that's so weird
and
though.
then the next day would roll around and I was like, "Oh my gosh, I haven't been to 2 classes. Everybody else is there. I don't know what they're gonna think of me,
Mhm.
whatever," right? And so I just didn't go to that class. And what happened was I beat myself up so much that I got into this huge it was just a spiral of depression, right? Like
Mhm.
that one thing that I kept doing inconsistently, I then started to skip another class and then another class and then another
I relate
class.
to that so much. It's
Yeah.
so crazy, and I don't understand it. That's the problem. Like I just don't.
But so what I've learned is beating yourself up. And by the way, I've being an athlete growing up, I started college weighing like 135 or something like that. And I'm fat now, right? And I acknowledge that. And since last year I lost like 60 pounds, 60 plus, and I'm still doing that, right? And one of the cool realizations that I've had while losing weight is you're gonna mess up, and that's okay. Just forgive yourself, right?
Mhm.
Like now, there is a difference of messing up day after day after day after day after day, and forgiving yourself and thinking that whatever you're doing is okay because it's probably not. Um, but it's one of those things where like I learned that beating myself up does nothing for me. And it's the only thing that is going to help. And I gotta show you this essay that Chris Williamson read on his show. It's called "Doing the Thing," and basically it's like it lists all these things of not doing the thing. Beating yourself up is one of them. And then at the very end of the essay, it says the only thing that's doing the thing is doing the thing. And it's like that, that right there. Like you don't need to beat yourself up in order to do the thing.
Mhm.
You can do the thing. And if you miss, okay, let's maybe figure it out.
Mhm.
Like sleep is obviously a huge factor of motivation for
Mhm.
everybody, right?
Mhm.
And if you lack sleep, like that would be the biggest focus. So like magnesium is some I'm not a medical doctor, but like I know magnesium before bed helps. And there's all these like I just listened to a podcast that just like it's a 2-3 hour podcast that talks about sleep and what you can do to prepare for sleep, what you can do. Like I don't know if you know, but one thing that really helps is keeping the temperature of your house at 64 degrees.
I wish.
That seems that
We're at
seems so
78.
cold. Oh, really?
Yeah, my
Damn.
house is at 78.
That's so that's horrible. I'd have a window
Or
open
like
or
70 or
something
something.
like
I
that.
do.
Man.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. but but it's like I mean there's different things to like hone in on sleep because without sleep, man, like you know, and it's going back to me thinking that I could party till 3 o'clock in the morning and get up at 8 o'clock in the morning. It's like that's not a realistic objective or goal.
Mhm.
And discipline can come from you know when you are tired and you have discipline, that's great, but what about just discipline in general, right? Let's work on that first, and then maybe you
Mhm.
can challenge yourself a little bit deliberately
Mhm.
and pick up that discipline. Like get discipline when you are tired. Like prove it to
Mhm.
yourself. But yeah, working on sleep, I don't know, is probably one of the biggest things that I would do if I were
Yeah.
you.
I
And
mean, I tried so many times, you know, like I got better at it. It used to be really bad, you
yeah,
know, like sleep is very important for everybody, you know, just getting a good sleep, waking up. And I get cranky in the morning if I get
yeah,
woken up. Like I'm pretty hard to wake up and cranky and stuff, but like so hard to go to sleep, but so hard to wake up. I used to be able to like, you know how you said like stay up to 3 in the morning. I used to stay up 3 in the morning, but wake up 6:30 to go to school.
yeah.
And now, like, you know, obviously you get older, you can't do that no more.
No.
I've been to performing at 3 in the morning to go to work 7 in the morning the next day. You
Mhm.
know, I've done that before and it does suck. But here lately, it's like, you know, I'm not doing nothing. I still struggle to sleep and I still got to get up.
Yeah.
Sleep is very important. I realize that sleep is good for recharging. And I feel like that's important at my age is to focus on recharging yourself.
Yeah.
'Cause it's very easy to just keep your battery drained.
Yeah.
You might not even people don't realize, like, they have a really bad like, they have a battery.
Mm,
So you gotta, like, keep that charged to stay healthy, you know? It's just like the food you put in,
yeah.
everything.
I definitely relate on that battery part because, like I said, I had some stuff happen this week, and I ended up realizing like I didn't I ate one meal for 3 days
Whoa.
and got like 4 hours of sleep in 3 days and went to the gym for 6 hours still. Like
Whoa.
so, I was pushing myself because I had so much stuff I was thinking about, but I could not go to sleep, and I've never felt worse in my whole life than at that moment, like body wise, like it, like terrible.
Mhm.
The more you do that, the more it beats up your body,
Yeah.
you know?
And
But
that's like the thing of like crazy, like, you know, you think you have certain stuff to help you like through mental, you know what I mean? And mine, it's the gym, but you can have too much of it, you know what I mean? Cause
Yeah.
I got to the point where I was being at like, there was one night where I was at the gym until like 4 in the morning, knowing damn well that I had work at 6, you know what I
Whoa.
mean? And had no sleep. And it was like, but it was like, I didn't know what else to do except for go to the gym, you know?
Mhm.
And
and
Yeah. So I think that just going back to don't beat yourself up. I know
Mhm.
that's so much easier said than done
Yeah.
as well. But the other thing that I'm looking at is like, you know, I've lost that weight and I'm still losing weight, but there are days that I stumble,
Mhm.
right? There are days that I just I'm craving Taco Bell, so screw my diet, right?
Mhm.
Like and it's like it's those times where I screw up and I think like, okay, how much sleep did you get? What have you been doing recently? Is life more stressful? Like what is causing you to stumble? Like
Mhm.
you've been doing such a good job being consistent and you can keep going with that consistency, but let's try to figure out
Mhm.
where that stumble came from.
Mhm.
If it even did come from somewhere, right?
Mhm.
Sometimes you just stumble and like it's like, all right, tomorrow's a new day. Right now is a new time.
Mhm.
So,
I think it's easy just to black out that stumble, like what caused that stumble. So easy just to like not even think about, it, just to forget about it, like it's not happening.
mm,
But you don't realize like it is affecting you.
yeah.
Even like the like stress, man. Stress is so important. But
Mhm.
you don't sometimes you don't realize where the stress is coming from
Yeah.
because you don't want to realize it. Your body sometimes things are so stressful or so like things happened in your life that you just forget because your body will make you forget.
Mm,
It's kind of like it's a reaction to help you,
yeah.
but sometimes it's tags along with you, but like the start of it's gone. You just don't
Yeah.
think of it.
Mhm.
And sometimes being hard on yourself makes you realize those. And
Yeah.
then Sometimes being hard on yourself just digs you deeper.
It does.
It's a hard thing to balance.
Yeah,
So hard.
I think there's a difference between being hard on yourself and beating yourself up, right?
Yeah.
Like you can have high expectations for yourself and be like,
Mhm.
Zach, come on, you're better than
Yeah.
that. You got this.
Be your biggest critic, but don't be your
Mhm.
worst critic. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Like, yeah, it's
I got one more one more. So Alex Hormozy, he says, you know, whenever I'm doing something hard, I always think this will be the story that I'll one day tell. And I'm like, oh, like when I'm going through the podcast and I'm like at my wit's end because I can't figure out some piece of technology or whatever.
I know how that feels.
Like
Ooh.
like you just wanna stop and like you just think this will be the story that I'll one day tell.
Mhm.
And that's just that is a lot of like I think about that whenever I'm going through something hard.
When I got my studio equipment for the first time and I was ready to record on it, I had it all set up, I thought. Took me like 2 extra days to get all the technology to work right.
Mhm.
And I was so frustrated that I couldn't do what I wanted to do. And then when I finally got done, I had no idea how to work the software, what I'm doing.
Yeah.
So it was like even more. And my guy told me, like the guy I learned from and who who recorded me, he told me that you're going to figure it out one day, and then one day you're going to be able to tell somebody else
Mm,
that story of like how you had to do that. And he told me the same thing that happened to him.
yeah.
It's just like how it happens. That's crazy to even think about sometimes.
Yeah. Um wow, yeah, this has been a fascinating conversation. So the next question, um what what are most guys your age wasting time on? Or most people?
Women.
Hey, I oh, yeah, never mind. Go ahead.
Women.
Women. Okay.
100%. You need to get your money up. No need. That's the one thing that got me on purpose. You know what I mean? Like thinking about your purpose. You know what I mean? Like 20, you don't need. If you are not in a relationship, you do not need to get in a relationship as a man at 20.
Mm,
Because one thing that I realized is like as a man, the older you get, you should be having, you know what I mean, more value. You know what I
mm,
mean? Like you gain value as a man the older you get. But I mean, if like the purpose thing, like if you're worried about somebody else having somebody else with you and you're not doing what you need to do, then mm,
I totally agree with the sentiment. However, I've been around women who have like propped me up,
well, I'm talking about like
right?
relationship wise.
Well, yeah, I mean, even in a
Uh,
relationship, like I I I I think if you're not still motivated to do things, you might be in the wrong relationship.
mm,
You know,
mm,
like
That is facts. Yeah.
I think the the girl in your life. I mean, you guys should be supporting each
Mhm.
other and making each other better people.
Mhm.
I just think that I think there's a certain time and place to know when you don't have enough room for somebody else.
That's true.
Like,
And some people do like dwell on like females more, like that's all they think about, which is natural for like a guy. You know, I mean, it is. I think in our age is more of we think and dwell on we got to get our stuff together. We got to hurry up. We got to figure out what we need to do. We need to get our life together. And we dwell so much on that, we forget to live. Like we forget to have fun.
Mhm.
You know, and I'm thinking about like even now, like I struggle with it. Like I'm thinking about like I work at the place I work at. I make decent money, but like I could be way more than where I'm at.
Yeah.
And it affects me every day. I like my job, but it's like I need to be more. And sometimes I dwell on so much, I forget that like where I'm at now is a blessing compared to like, cause like nobody ever thought I'd be where I'm at now. Nobody,
Mhm.
I never thought I was gonna be where I'm at now. But I don't think about that often. I think about where I should be so much, and I forget to live. You don't get long on this earth.
Yeah.
You know, some people live to 80. You know, that's long, but it's not. 80 years
Mhm.
is not long. It'll go by faster than we realize. 23 years. I remember yesterday I was 10. Yesterday I was 8. I remember
Mhm.
8-year-old memories like it was yesterday.
Mhm.
And it's like time went by so fast. I was a kid and now I'm not. Now things
Mhm.
are serious.
Yeah.
And now I'm focusing so much on the serious, like, oh, I'm an adult. I got to be serious. I'm
Mhm.
forgetting to have fun and live because life is short and you got to
Mhm.
have fun and live. But there is a time and place for business and fun. But I feel like some people just dwell so much on the just I got to be this, I got to do this. It's not okay where I'm at. Everybody's going to be somewhere differently. Just
Mhm.
because you see somebody that's 18 further than you are at 23, don't make you less or don't make you like not as important because everybody moves at their own pace. Everybody's situation makes them move slower. You're going to get there. Just have fun while you get there. Move at your own pace. Don't stress yourself out trying to rush it because life will tear you up if you rush it.
Yeah.
Life will come at you the way it comes at you, and you just do the best you can in what it makes it. That's what I think.
Yeah, I think it's easy to live in the past and the present, and
Hmm.
I think gratitude is what really, for me, centers me into the moment of
Hmm.
like, man, I'm looking around and we're here in the studio having an awesome conversation, and like how awesome is it? And I'm so grateful to have you guys here,
Hmm.
and so yeah, I don't do that enough, but
Yeah.
uh,
We all look at social media and other people, and we like self reflect too much, and we don't realize that we're our own person. We're not them.
yeah,
We're not going to be them.
hmm,
Like we see our favorite social media person, and we like, dang, like I don't look like her, or I don't look like him.
yeah,
I'm not where that's at. But we
y-
forget how special we are to ourselves and like what we can do. And we forget about, yeah, they did that because they believed in themselves, what they can do. They didn't worry about somebody else.
mm-hmm,
Yeah, I realistically believe in being hard on yourself to get what you want. I don't think like me personally, I think like you know what I mean, like you get change and you get a better you going through hardships. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like a lot of the times you don't see somebody that's having the best days of their life. Like I honestly don't see if somebody's having the best day of their life every single day. Don't see no problem with nothing. Like how can you build to be a top anything? You know what I
right. You
mean? Like,
can't.
Hmm.
That's so true.
mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's where I think we struggle so much.
yeah,
That's also like the balance of like when like our generation like we put so much pressure on us, but then it's also like if we don't put pressure on us, look at how the economy's being. It's like we gotta hurry up and get our stuff together before shit or stuff
Hmm.
gets too bad. You know what I mean?
yeah,
'Cause we could barely afford houses right now.
Mhm.
Like our generation, it's like it's hard. Like I mean, I'm sure they made less money, but I remember my grandma told me she bought her house now for $40,000.
yeah,
Now it's worth almost two, and
yeah,
it's like you know how hard it is for us to get a house for $200,000 now. You got to make this amount, and
And you
hmm,
got all
it's
these dang contracts and all that
it's
stuff.
insane to think. And
yeah,
I feel like we just stress about it. I don't know.
yeah. Do you feel ahead or behind your peers with where you
Behind.
are?
I'm gonna say this: my mental says behind, but in reality, I'm further than what I should ever been.
Yeah,
Like the way I grew up, I should be dead or in jail
yeah,
or close to it.
hmm,
But I ended up differently, and my situation made me behind some people,
yeah,
but I'm in head to where I should have been.
hmm,
And so right now I'm further, right? Not my peers, but like I'm further than what I should have been. But I don't think about that. I think
yeah,
about it, I'm not where I want to be, and that's where I mess up.
yeah,
I don't like judging myself off peers. I judge myself off of like where I think I should be because I know myself more than anybody does.
yeah,
I know my potential, and that's what makes it so
Mhm.
hard because I know my potential is greater than what I'm doing, and
yeah,
that's where I feel like I'm behind because I'm not where my potential should be, where I know my potential is.
I
yeah. Go ahead.
I would say that I'm ahead because of my peers. Cause about a year and a half ago, like I was not doing nothing, like didn't have no purpose or nothing, and then that's when something bad really happened, and I had my peers to keep me up, and then I hopped in the gym, and I feel like I from then until now I've even had people at work tell me like I'm a completely different person, like so I would say shoot, yeah, I would definitely say I'm only ahead because of my peers.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, yeah. It's interesting. I kind of, in a way, regret asking that question because another Jordan Petersonism is don't compare yourself to others, but compare yourself to who you were
Mm.
yesterday.
Yeah.
And I think that's so critical not
Mhm.
to compare yourself.
Yeah, you would put yourself on hold comparing yourself to somebody else.
Yeah.
It's nice to be inspired by somebody else, but don't ever compare because
Mm-hmm.
somebody else cars were different than yours. And you gotta realize that
Mm.
because they made it out there, they made it through their situation, but doesn't mean like you're less because like your situation was worse and you had to go through something else, or like your hump might have been a little bigger than somebody else's and you're still climbing, but they already climbed it. You're going to get to the top.
Mhm.
They just already got there.
Yeah.
It's a weird aspect that you can compare yourself to your younger self, but there's no possible chance of comparing yourself to your better version
Oh,
before
Yeah,
you're your better
but you
version.
know you're a better person.
yeah.
It's weird.
Mhm.
Like
Interesting.
I know my full potential. I know what I could be,
Yeah.
but I don't put actions to where I could be.
Uh,
And that's where I feel like I'm behind,
mm,
like, cause like motivation, discipline. Like right now, I feel like at 23 right now, I should have had my own business. I should have had my own stuff. I think about this all the time. I should have been way further. The stuff I've been through should have pushed me further than what I did. But then sometimes I got to sit and realize you're doing great.
yeah.
Like you're living. You're
Mhm.
getting it honest. I'm not out here I'm not out here doing it like my parents did. I'm not making money illegal or whatever. Like I'm not breaking laws. I'm literally working and building a man out of myself. And it's not easy to build a man out of yourself. And I got to
Mhm.
realize that. But
Mhm.
it's like I said, we always beat ourselves up and it's not good to, but it's a hard
Mhm.
thing to overcome.
Yeah.
It really is.
Um, you talked to Dylan about working and creating value for yourself at your age, which I support. I think that's a great idea. The question is, at what point does you sacrificing? I mean, are you sacrificing too much too early, kind of thing?
And that's yeah, it's crazy because I feel like I've just given myself too much time to wait. You know what I mean? And I've realized, like that I've it's crazy to say, but in order to change, you gotta sacrifice stuff. You know what I mean?
You
Like you're
do.
not gonna like it, you know what I mean? But like for example, you know what I mean? Like I recently broke up with someone, you know what I mean? And I had to sacrifice a relationship. It was the best relationship I've ever had in my life. But I knew that I was leaning too much on that person, you know what I mean? Like I didn't have nothing like knew me as my person. I always leaned on people every single time, and I just realized that I had to sacrifice something so I could build something for myself later. You know what I
Mm,
mean? Because at some point, if you're not taking those sacrifices and you're not changing at all, then you're gonna be blown away with the dust. You know what I mean? Because everybody's constantly changing. If you're the same person 24/7, you're not trying to do better. You know?
yeah.
You know, I'm in the thought process. It's weird because my biggest fear is death.
Mm,
'Cause I like being on this earth and I like having fun. There's so much stuff I wanna do, I enjoy it, so I don't wanna die yet, like,
mhm,
once I'm, like, 60, 70, 80, and I live my life, cool, it's part of life, I know
mhm,
it's coming, but, like, I have a fear of dying early.
mm,
I would hate to, like, overwork myself and just constantly think about work, work, and not enjoy my life
mm,
and then die in a year or so, and
mm,
then at the end of it, I'm thinking, I wasted my time trying to work, 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 and not enjoy myself. But at the same time, life makes it where you gotta work, work, work to enjoy yourself.
mm,
So it's a weird balance to figure out like, am I overworking myself? But I need to overwork myself, but I need to enjoy my life because that's what it's about. If you
mhm,
don't, you gotta enjoy your life to make the best of what it is because you only get one.
mhm.
As far as we know, we might get reincarnated. I don't know. But as
Yeah,
far as we
yeah.
know, we get one life that we think of, like of our brain.
Mhm,
So it's like it's definitely difficult to find that balance of like if you really think you're overworking yourself or you're focusing too much on just one thing and not having fun and enjoying.
Ain't it crazy how sacrifice seems like a bad word, but it's not always bad.
Yeah.
yeah.
You know?
Yeah, yeah. You're 100% right, and I'm thinking about like outside of my day job,
Hmm.
I've never been so busy outside of my day job, and it's all things that I love doing, or maybe I don't like it at necessarily at the time, but it's all things like when I get a comment from somebody like, "Hey, I just listened to this podcast and my son is going through this disability or whatever," and I get a comment like that, it's like, "Wow, like
Hmm.
that's why I'm doing the
Mhm.
grindy stuff that isn't as fun or whatever." So, it's it's interesting. I've even and I've told my friends this as well, but like sometimes I've been going out with I'll go out with my friends and I'll be there and I'll be like, man, I really want to get to planning more stuff with the podcast or doing more tennis stuff, and I'm
Mhm.
thinking those kinds of things, and it's like, you know, when I have a kid that I can teach more independence to or a more life lesson to, like, that's fun.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
And so, like, I don't know, like, I think one of the things that I think about is like the balance of that working hard versus enjoying life. And I do think that there are some jobs out there that will pay a lot of money but are super awful. They're
Yeah.
not fulfilling their they're just life draining, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I think if you truly are doing something that maybe you're called to do, or however you want to phrase it, like that you're meant to do in life, I think those things, the grind of those things, turn into almost that fun,
Mhm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I'm fully articulating that very well, but like,
Like the fruits of it, like
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I know exactly what you mean.
yeah, like so it's like, is there a balance between like fun and that grind? And I don't know that there is.
It seems like it in my point in life. I feel like I haven't found the good balance yet.
Yeah,
You know
yeah,
what I mean? I haven't found the balance yet. So maybe there's not, but I'm sure there is. I'm sure there is a balance. And I don't
yeah.
think like how old are you if you don't mind me
I'm
asking?
40.
You're 40?
Mhm.
You don't look
You're
a day.
lying.
You don't look a day over 30.
You're like
Almost.
28.
No, seriously.
You're like
40?
28.
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
40.
I don't believe it, but you know what I mean? But
You're only like 6 years older than
yeah,
us.
but anyway, so 40, right? Never mind. I was gonna say I thought you was like 30. So I was gonna say I don't even think at like an age 30 you find that balance. Maybe
Yeah.
not even at 40 you
Oh,
don't.
I didn't have that balance at
Yeah.
30. That's for sure. But
Yeah.
here's one of the other things that just with MMA life and MMA culture is like, I have friends now in the gym, right? And we sometimes we'll go out the hot pot or whatever else, but like, one of the coolest things about MMA life is, one, like the discipline that is in just the whole mentality that everybody has in the gym, and then like, we're doing these hard things together, and we're growing together, and so there's something cool about doing that with your friends,
Mhm.
right? And so, like, some of my other friends I don't really see as much. Like, I've invited them out to the gym and come train or whatever else, but obviously that hasn't happened. So it's like, okay, I have some friends in the gym that I can kick it with,
Mhm.
and we can grind,
Mhm.
right?
That's how I feel like that with like with my most recent situation, like I was able to talk to my whole friend group about it, but then it was like, like when I already talked to my whole friend group, then it was like I wanted to talk more. I was able to talk to my work group about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Everybody that I work with, like I'm blessed to be able to work with people that like comfortable enough to talk to. I've been with them for 3 years and everything.
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, exactly.
Mm.
Um, so All right. So wow. There's so much that we can cover. We're at 2 hours 47 minutes.
Hmm.
That 47 minutes just kind of seemed to fly by
Yes.
pretty fast. Let's do this. Let's get into a rapid fire. I want to mark. I want to mark where I stopped on this. If you guys ever come back, we can continue, but let's do this. I just want to get into like a rapid fire that I think is kind of fun. Um, so the rapid fire is, so between MMA and music, the question is, which is more MMA or music? I'm just curious.
More of
The things that I'm about to list.
oh okay.
Yeah, sorry.
More
Yeah. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
So like, what do you think's more honest?
music.
Yeah.
I think
MMA.
I think that music, people are gonna let you know if they like your music or not. You know what I mean? And if you don't satisfy nobody, then you're gonna know that you don't satisfy anybody.
Yeah.
I say MMA because it's more honest to yourself. You're disciplining yourself. You're going through something that not everybody can go through.
Yeah.
You're beating your body up.
Mhm.
It's hard to explain how like I'll come back from it just beat up, but it does feel good that you went through that. You know what I mean? And music though,
Mhm.
right? I have songs that have the most honesty in it, but I also have songs that have the most bullcrap thing I could ever say, the
Mhm.
most like stupidest, but it just goes with it. It's just so I feel like music can be dishonest sometimes because sometimes to make a song good, you got to kind of lie.
Ah.
Like just to like that whole media thing. Sometimes you got to fake it till you make it.
Yeah.
And sometimes that's in your music. There's always a time for pain music and like real music, and then there's always not everybody wants to hear that.
Yeah.
Some people just like that bullcrap music that they just get up and dance to. So that's why I say MMA because you're being more honest with yourself. It's only you in that ring. It's only you in that training room. I
Yeah.
mean, there's other people helping you, but it's like they can help you all they want, but if you don't help yourself, you ain't gonna help yourself. So
The other thing with MMA is if you miss a punch, you're getting
Yeah, you're getting-
hit in the face, and that's pretty honest.
yeah,
Yeah, I really like that aspect of it. Like knowing that you're actually putting in,
Mhm.
you're gonna know for sure if you put the work in
Yeah.
MMA.
Yeah.
Mhm.
What's more vulnerable?
MMA.
Vulnerable, like
Dealer open to interpretation.
I mean,
I can see both because
yeah,
in
I see. Oh, my bad. Go ahead.
MMA you're on the ground grappling and like
You're-
super close to somebody and
your
like
your health is vulnerable.
I
Yeah.
can't tell you the amount of injuries I've already had, and I've only been doing this for 7 months.
yeah.
Like I'm pretty sure I need to go to the doctor and get both my
Yeah.
knees checked out.
Oh
When
snap.
I did it for like I haven't been in so long on it, it feels like, but I broke my toe. Yeah.
Also, like a real thing, like you never know that you can't throw a punch until you actually do MMA.
Yeah.
Like that's why it's so vulnerable because you think, oh, I can beat anybody up. Like I work out like blah 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 blah. You go in there, bro. Like my first experience was in there, and what's her name? The kickboxer lady, Amanda.
Oh yeah.
Amanda throwing all these shots that I wouldn't like, absolutely insane.
Yeah.
Like, you get in there and you can't even compare to anybody else in there on your first day. That's why I say like.
See, it's so different. It's so hard to put that with music because music's what you choose it. Because like sometimes my music can be vulnerable to myself because I'm letting my feelings out.
Mm-hmm.
And then if I'm recording myself, it's not. But say I'm going to like a studio and the engineer's recording me, right? I'm letting my like feeling, my personal life out in a song sometimes. So that engineer's hearing it.
Yeah.
So it could be vulnerable that way. So it's kind of hard for that question to pick which one.
Yeah, I
Because
agree.
It just depends on like you kind of like I can make the most stupidest music ever and it's not vulnerable at all.
Mhm.
But then sometimes I'm putting my voice out there that maybe I'm not comfortable singing in front of people, but I'm
Yeah.
singing in front of people on a raw voice.
She's had some dope free like the what was that one in the it was the that barn looking one
The show.
outside and
Yeah, that one. Like,
that looked like with a lot of people. That one
and
was-
you want to know something? That's my first ever show. And this is how vulnerable I was. I started doing this hip dancing thing. And it's so embarrassing when I look at it now. And I would never do it again.
he knows exactly how to do it.
Yeah.
He should-
And I didn't know I was doing it. I was just in the moment. I was so nervous. I couldn't think. And I just started doing it. I can't dance. I can't dance. That's the only problem with me and my music. I can't dance.
Yeah.
And I just started doing this hip thing. And, in the moment, I didn't know I was doing it. But when I look back on it, it was so embarrassing. And I posted it on social media. There's 50 people plus watching. That's vulnerable.
Yeah.
Like you're on the stage. When I went to Chicago and I performed, I thought it was gonna be cool if I jumped off the stage.
Yeah.
Well, like onto this like platform onto the stage. Well, I did it, but my knee buckled when I did it.
Oh my
But I
god.
recovered it. But in my head, it's like, oh, they seen that. They seen that.
Oh.
Yeah. So I'm like so vulnerable. Like you can be so vulnerable in music, but also in MMA, you're fighting in front of people or
yeah, bro. I got hit with a crazy shot, and I started stumbling. I heard, oh,
yeah.
and I was like, I'm good, man. It just
Yeah.
got me for a
Yeah,
second.
get your balance. That's vulnerable right there.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna skip the rest of this. But a few more like between you two. Who's No, I don't want to do this. I'm sorry. Who's winning in a street fight?
I say me now.
Yeah.
I say
Mm.
Wyatt before because Wyatt was really good at wrestling, but I've been training and I've been working out real good now.
Do you
It
agree?
depends. It just depends on the situation. I feel like it depends on the situation. On like, if we actually went at it, right? It could, like, street fights are different. Like, like anybody can fight anybody and it's a 50-50 for real.
Yeah.
Sometimes, most of the time, like it depends on like if I get to a certain position first, if I get a certain leverage first, and if he ends up on the ground first or not. But like it just because like when we was wrestling, doing like wrestling, there's times where I couldn't do nothing to him.
Yeah.
But then there's times where I did something. It just really depends. That's with any fight and anybody. It's whoever really gets the best upper hand, really.
Who's more likely to cry at a movie?
Me probably, Ryan.
Not me. I ain't gonna cry at a movie.
Okay. Who's more likely to wait hours to text back?
Me.
Okay. Would you agree with that, Dylan?
Yeah, bro, you don't care. Bro.
Okay.
You don't care.
Sometimes I see it, sometimes I don't. Sometimes I just like I think I answer. Sometimes I just don't want to. I'm watching the show and I just don't want to be bothered or something.
Yeah. Who's more stubborn?
Him, man, bro.
It depends.
You tell this guy that the sky is blue, and he, for some reason, if he thinks it's pink, I swear to God, he'll die by that.
It could be Dylan sometimes too.
I don't know.
I mean, I'm pretty stubborn, but like,
Yo, he's one of the most stubborn people I know in my whole entire life.
Depends. Actually, depends on how petty I'm feeling.
He's like as stubborn as my grandma when it comes to trying to get her to use a wheelchair. Like
yeah, it just depends. It does depend. I could be really stubborn.
Who would survive longer alone in the woods?
Yeah, I'm screwed, but I ain't living.
He went camping once with us, and
I hate, bro, just being freaking sweaty and stuff by myself.
I hate it too, but I wouldn't be survived too much longer. Yeah, too much longer, but maybe a little longer.
Out of the three of us, who's the least to survive in a zombie apocalypse?
You might be. I might have to be faster than you. I'm not going.
Yeah.
As long as I'm faster than both of y'all, I should be good.
I knew that answer. It was obviously me. Like, I'm dead.
we might like.
I feel like I would die in a zombie apocalypse thinking I'm gonna whack a zombie's head off and miss and get bit.
Yeah.
Man, I'm just.
Man, I ain't gonna lie. I don't even want to go through that.
Survival of the fittest at that point.
That stuff scares me. That's stressful every day. I don't know if I would want to even go through that.
Yeah.
Might as well become one.
Wow. I definitely I probably skipped half the content that I was gonna go over. So
We'll have to do a part two.
Would love to have a part two with you guys. I think this was a blast. What's one thing you hope guests get out of us talking together?
For me, so me being like young audience, like looking in, people our age, maybe a little older or younger, man, just try not to dwell so much on like what could or can. Focus on yourself in the moment. Focus on the little things that make you better. Because eventually, if you just focus on those little things, the big things will happen. Some people just focus on the big things too much. You got to start little, and it's just so easy to be stressed, so easy to be overwhelmed with this life. Just especially at a young age, we get a lot of pressure on us. Just focus on like living life, but bettering yourself. At the same time, you gotta make sure, as long as your morals or you just do right by yourself, honestly, and that'll go a long way. If you're kind and you make sure you do the right things and you're honest with yourself and others and stuff, good things will come your way.
Yeah.
Your energy, this world and life and energy all comes together. If you're negative things will come. If you're positive, then positive things will come. That's what that's my advice.
Sure, I say out of this, just talk to people. You never know what kind of people you can relate to. You know what I mean? Every single person is going through stuff, and a lot of the time you're going through the same thing as the person sitting right across from you. You never know what stuff you can learn by just talking to somebody.
Yeah.
So I mean, I saw this as therapy. This was definitely very helpful for me.
I feel like somebody's gonna take something out of this and be like, you know what? I feel the same way.
Yeah. It's interesting. because I'm like coordinating like the next question, or like
Mhm.
I'm trying to make sure sound maybe is okay and other things. Sometimes there's moments in the podcast where I tune out. And so when I listen to it back, I'm like, oh, interesting, or I forgot about that.
Mhm.
I am super excited to listen to this podcast back because we got in to so many deep things, and
Mhm.
it was a blast, and I really like I think this was one of the podcasts that I really dove into purpose and
Mhm.
honestly the yin and yang between like when I was your age
Mhm.
versus you guys and man there's so many life lessons and nuggets that
Mhm.
I think people can get out of this
Mhm.
conversation. So I hope this impacts everybody who does watch in
Mhm.
a positive way and in a way that they can take action on their own life and turn that to make it even better than what it is now.
We
Mhm.
basically just gave the blueprint on how to roll forward.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Literally.
Now, I do have a quick question if we have time.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
you asked a question, do you think like our generation's softer or that thing, right? I
Mhm.
didn't know you was 40 years old.
Oh my god.
So you're about 20 years different than us.
I am, yeah.
I would like to know your aspect on that. You see our generation, you're seeing the technology and the social media part, you're doing it. I mean, you're
Yeah,
very techie. So
yeah.
what do you think on that topic that you asked? I really want to know that now that I know like you were a couple generations above us.
Yeah, so I think that is the general perception is that your generation is more soft, let's say. But you both made great points that I really never thought of. Like social media is like it's a great thing for communication, but it's also like, man, like if I had social media growing up, like I'd be like I wouldn't be able to get a job. Like I don't know, like just the things that would have been on social media that's just so embarrassing that I don't want to look back on and
Mm-hmm.
and all that. But you know, I think one of the reasons that like depression is on the rise and purpose, people more and more people are feeling less and less purposeful
Mhm.
in life is because I think we live in a time now where things come fairly easy and you have to go and seek out hard.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, that's fire. That
Yeah.
was clean.
And so
My bad, yeah.
no, no, you're good. And so you said that was fire, and so you know I think there are a lot of different situations in the world that are happening, but yeah, like I think, and this was me in the in my 20s is I thought failure was a bad word. I thought it was a bad thing to do. I
Mm-hmm.
didn't wanna fail. And and Hendo actually said this, the 16-year-old that I had on my podcast. He says, "But if you fail the right way, it'll do so much good in your life."
Mm-hmm.
And it's like I'm not saying, like, go out and do drugs and fail that way, right? I'm saying, like, deliberately put yourself in like I heard somebody say once like if you're not failing in life, you're not doing hard enough things.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like it's one of those things where I think we live in maybe a more delicate society where we don't want to offend somebody or we don't want to fail or and so we just take that easy road.
Mm-hmm.
And that easy road is going going to break your spirit as
Mhm.
we talked about before. And so yeah, like so back to your question of like w- do I think that your generation is soft? I think there are elements to that answer being yes, because I don't think people are going out and seeking those challenges.
Mm-hmm.
Mm. I think definitely we have a lot more distractions think we definitely have a lot more distractions nowadays too that we can cling on to.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's so easy. Like I find myself doing this. It's so easy to just doom scroll on your phone or just, one thing, one remarkably stupid thing that I'm thinking that I think I do every day is I've been listening to like these survival podcasts. And it's like those are fascinating, but is that really like I could be listening to the next podcaster that's growing their YouTube channel and learn more skills about how to do shorts better or like just
Mhm.
craft a podcast better, right?
Mhm.
And I do acknowledge that there's some level of like I just need to step away and clear
Mhm.
my mind and like listen to something that's like I don't know, monotonous or whatever, like just fun.
Mhm.
But it's also like you've got that thought of like, yeah, but I could be doing something
Yeah.
more.
As long as it
Mm.
brings you peace and peace of mind, I feel like that's important. Like
Right.
if that podcast that you listen to about like survival and it eases your mind at night, helps you relax and brings you happiness,
Yeah.
it's okay. There's time and places for like that learning podcast, and then there's that time for that like enjoyment podcast. I've been watching that outdoor boy guy or the outdoor guy or whatever
Oh.
that be just going to Alaska and building snow stuff.
Oh,
I ain't
cool.
never gonna do that,
Yeah.
but it helps me go to sleep at night, and
Yeah.
it's very interesting,
Yeah, that's fair.
and it brings me peace.
I do put something on when I go
Mhm.
to sleep, and it's generally not something that's like any sort of thought provoking or anything like
Mhm.
that. And I think that's different than driving back from work or to work and
Mhm.
putting that on. Let's say, like I guess what I'm trying to do is I guess be efficient as possible with my time
Mhm.
because I have less and less of I'm just too busy.
I feel like that's a struggle getting older. You just feel like you're getting less and less time, so you're panicking, and you
Well,
gotta do so much more.
no, it's not even about death for me.
Mhm.
It's more like I want to be more efficient because of all the things that I want to accomplish. Uh, like I put out one short a day on average. I could be putting out 3 shorts.
Mhm.
So how can I find the time in the day to be able to do that a little bit better?
Yeah,
It,
it's
and
hard.
part of it is, you get to a point where you start to get in a leadership position. You can hire an editor and
Mhm.
do all that. So, um, yeah. Anyway, does that answer your question?
Mhm. Yeah.
Okay.
I just didn't know you was 40, man. It's just
I
it
know.
kinda makes the whole just this whole conversation different. It really did. 'Cause
Yeah.
this whole time I'm thinking you're like 30 and you're not too far from us.
Yeah.
No, you're a true 90s like baby, you know? So it's like,
80s. I
hey,
was born in 85.
oh man, well, dang, 85. So you got to experience some time that we just can just look on videos and think of, you know?
My first cell phone I didn't get until
Yeah.
college.
You know, I was born before the smartphone. I grew up before the
Yeah, we were. Yeah, that's facts. Right.
smartphone.
College though is. Can you imagine being in high school and just be like, oh, I gotta tell somebody something, but I gotta wait until tomorrow.
You gotta knock on
Right.
the door or
Right,
email
right.
them did you have email in high school?
I mean, not no, I didn't.
Pagers?
What's that?
Pagers?
Yeah, we had pagers, but only
Mm.
business people had pagers.
Really?
Like I never had any electronic device to be able to communicate with my family or anybody else. Like we had I don't even remember when this came out, but like AIM. Do you know what that is?
Oh.
So AIM is it was made, I believe, by AOL, America Online. It's like one of the first email companies that came out,
Mhm.
and AIM was an instant messaging. It's like American Instant Messaging or something like that.
Really?
Mm.
Or AOL Instant Messaging, and so like you could text people through the internet on your computer.
Mm.
Oh, that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
That's actually kinda cool. I didn't never heard of that actually.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, there was that. I mean, I was in college when Facebook came out.
That's kinda cool. That's what
Yeah.
that's what it naturally was created for, is college, you know?
Yeah, it was, and I was so mad when they opened it up to
Mm.
my mom and dad because I was like, I can hide things from them and
Mm.
Now
communicate
you
with
can't.
friends, and now I can, and this sucks.
Did food taste different back then? Like fast food? You know, like when you was like in the 80s, 90s, and you went to like a McDonald's. Did their burgers taste different than they do now?
Well, I think my taste buds have
Mm.
changed, but
You don't think they like process the food more since now?
I definitely think food is very processed, and maybe I didn't care about it then. I'm definitely more conscious about how they process food and stuff like that, and what's going into my body.
I always wondered if that was different.
But like Domino's, everybody said tasted like cardboard back in the day,
Mm.
and they've changed their flavor.
Shoot, have you ever tried Cece's?
Yeah, see you later.
Best pizza place I've ever been in my life.
I've never been a fan. Yeah, I know.
Let's end this podcast.
Let's fight. Let's fight. Let's go. Yeah, that's interesting. Anything else? I've got like 3 more closing questions, but where can people find you?
Kentucky.
Kentucky.
You can find me on Instagram at dylan.gilbert1.
You can find me on TikTok at Yvng Spark. I think it's Wyatt _ Sparks 30.
Okay.
Same thing on Instagram.
Okay.
You can find me in my bad.
Facebook, Wyatt Sparks.
Okay.
And then YouTube, Yvng Spark.
Okay.
I don't have Apple Music or Spotify yet. Currently working on that. I have so many songs in the vault I don't know what to do with. And I'm trying to put a project together, but I have so many songs I don't even know how to put it together. It's kind of a problem now.
Yeah.
You can find me at your local Planet Fitness also. My time there.
Okay. I thought you trained only here.
I try, you know, gotta be busy 24/7.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Well, I just want to say thank you both for coming on. It's been you never know when you have a guest on that like I mean we've trained in the gym together, but most of the time we don't train together. We don't really interact a whole lot. So I was very I was just going into this like, all right, let me plan a whole bunch of different topics and see what happens.
Yeah, I was nervous too because I didn't know how to keep. When I heard 3 hours, I panicked.
Yeah.
I was like, how do you conversate for 3 hours?
Yeah.
It's not that hard.
It's not.
Not at all. So easy.
Everybody
like,
does that.
when you're talking about like self-worth and stuff, like good things are gonna help you, you know.
Yeah.
Like I was struggling to feel like I really don't think I could. Like I made this comment and hopefully she don't kill me, but I said I don't think I could talk to my girlfriend for 3 hours straight. You know, like how am I going to talk on a podcast for 3 hours straight? And you know what? This taught me something. Get off of social media and just talk because it's so easy. I haven't touched my phone maybe once until the end just to check, make sure everything was good.
Yeah.
But like I haven't touched my phone the whole 3 hours and the conversation was flawless.
Yeah. It was a great
It just made it kind of it. This is my second ever like podcast, kind of, and it's just like it really shows how like effortlessly conversating is.
Yeah.
You know, it's just so easy.
Yeah.
It surprised me.
Yeah. And even when I had my best friend Matt and my housemate Ryan, he's also a great friend of mine. I learned so much about them. And like Matt, I've known since college, which is not a couple years ago. It's 20 years ago. So, like, yeah, it's been awesome. I can't wait for this to go live, and I'll let you know at the end of the podcast. Okay. Anything else before we wrap up?
Keep it rolling.
Keep it rolling.
Keep
Push
rolling
forward.
forward. Yeah.
You know?
I love it.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, this was fun. All right, everybody, thank you so much for joining the Rolling Forward podcast. If you like what you heard, it would mean the world to me if you followed me, hit that like button. I want to know what you thought of this episode. What parts stood out to you? Any disagreements that we said? Any value add that you could do? Put it in the comments. Let me know. I respond to every single comment that happens. So, and if you want to see a t-shirt, if you want to get a t-shirt and join the wheelchair mafia, you can get this at rollingforward.printful.me. It's one of my created t-shirts. And if you have a story worth sharing that fits the theme of what I'm doing, basically anyone, reach out and you might be my next guest. Until next time, keep rolling forward. Bye, everyone.